When we pick up game, or is it going to be we're still talking to the commander?
No, when we start the game,
we went to bed, I think.
There will be a new day,
Okay.
just before dawn, essentially.
Could I have told the commander the situation with Gennaro, and if he comes across and to tell him I said to stay put?
Isn't Gennaro with you?
No, I don't think so.
No, his body got taken away.
Oh, that's
Assuming
right.
he's dead, yeah.
Again.
We don't know if he's alive or dead.
Yeah, he's in another castle. Yeah.
We're gonna find him and part rat ogre.
That would be awesome. Okay, yeah, of course. Jason, you'll be able to do this right before dawn because the commander will be speaking with you, then.
Okay.
So you have a chance to talk to him one last time before heading off towards your new adventure, or rather mission. Okay, spend your XP if you can. If you have any XP to spend, of course.
Trying to remember if I marked my XP on my sheet.
Yeah.
I'm starting to accumulate some.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 100 on 5 ballistic skill.
All right, always a good idea. So Sally has a +5 BS.
Yeah, I'm at 48 now.
Oh, that's
ballistic skill? Yeah. I'm trying to decide what I should spend it on.
It was either that or agility for me. I'm pretty high in agility already.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to spend on stats. Probably ballistic skill would be a good idea for me too, because that was one of my better stats. But now it's lagging behind weapon skill. I'm almost maxed out on weapon skill. Yeah, I'll just do ballistic skill.
Okay. Jason?
So that would be...
I don't have anything that's practical to spend.
Okay.
It's either common knowledge heraldry or special weapon cavalry. Those are the only two that I have left. So I'll just wait for that to come up.
All right, Andy.
Yeah, I don't have enough XP for anything. I spent it all after the last game.
Oh, all right, sure. Okay, well.
Or the last game that I was in, I should say.
Yeah. Okay, well, in that case, we can begin. Who's making notes today? Please remind me.
I will be making them.
Okay.
This will be my second of 3. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a new document has been created, so it's ready for you, Jason.
Okay.
After you, does it go back to me?
Yeah.
I don't know who's next.
Yeah, I have no idea what the rotation is at this point.
Well, we should be, going full circle.
Yeah.
Unless someone really doesn't want to make notes, of course, and get free experience points. Okay, well, we'll figure it out after the third time with Jason.
Yeah.
All right, so you are all rather crudely awakened before dawn by a couple of young soldiers in Talabheim's livery. It's still dark outside, of course, and you don't really want to get out of your beds, or rather sleeping bags. You've all been actually rather lucky to spend your night in Dankerud. It's, if you look at the map, it's to the east of Talabheim. Dankerud is normally
Having some audio issues.
Yeah.
Someone.
the Skaven are attacking.
You went out for a second.
Okay.
I think you probably were having the audio issues then.
Me?
Yeah, we were hearing some kind of background noises. That was.
I just turned the washing machine on. That was probably me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I walked to the laundry room for a second.
Okay.
Anyway, Dankerud is on the east side of the crater. It's normally a very luxurious, spa place for rich people from Talabheim. to visit. It has a lot of very nice looking villas, there's hot streams, stuff like that. But now it houses the remnants of Talabheim's military. Yeah, and the remnants is actually a very good word, because the Skaven have completely defeated the army, the militia, and practically everyone. The Skaven have control of Talabheim. Total control. You are still actually trying to process this information, this reality, because, well, it's simply unbelievable, but it's true. You've managed to reach Dankerud, almost, half frozen to death, hungry, tired, wounded. People here gave you food, gave you basic, basic field, basic first aid, and then you were brought before the commanding officer, one York Hafner. He's a general and the leader of Tao's Chosen. Because the Countess has been captured by the Skaven, and you saw that, all of you, right before you've escaped Talabheim, she bowed before the Skaven warlord, or rather the Skaven sorcerer. And, yeah, and gave her fealty to him. Hafner listened to your stories. So did the remnants of nobility. Of course, nobles, quickly began to arguing between each other, saying stuff like, well, the Empire army will surely save us in a few days, there's nothing to worry about, they're just rats. Stuff like that. And when they left, Hafner spoke with you privately, and generally set you a task. You are to return to Talabheim and organize the resistance, and find out what the Skaven really want. Because, according to him, unless they have some kind of further plan, this action doesn't really make any sense. Just taking the city and holding it. Even a very well defensive, even a very defensible city like Talabheim. He's sure that the Skaven have some kind of agenda, and he wants you to find out what that agenda is. And of course, to help open the gates when the Empire army, when the relief army eventually arrives. Because he already sent for help. He sent his best scouts, outside of the crater, to seek help from the wider empire. After that, you were given a hot meal. You were brought to one of the very nice-looking villas, which are almost all of them occupied, not only by their, by people who were normally living there, but also by the soldiers. And you went to sleep, exhausted. Unfortunately for you, you were woken up early, not very sadly, because it was something along the lines, "Get up, the general is waiting outside!" And with this very unpleasant feel of sand behind your eyes, with your limbs aching, with your muscles aching, you went down outside of the villa. It's still dark, although of course Dankerud is lit by many torches, many lamps. Patrols are marching here and there. People are whispering to each other over campfires. Some of them are eating, some of them are just trying to stay awake. You are all waiting for Hafner. So if you want to speak to each other, now's the time.
Real quick, how many hit points am I at since through all this?
We used the healing salves. You just told us that we were back up to full with the doctor.
Yeah, you're at full HP.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I have
thanks.
one wound marked down. I'll take it off.
All right.
Bad dream.
Yeah, you're all on full HP. Of course, you're all bandaged up. Your wounds smell of strange, unguents. Unguents? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Which helped, to speed the process of healing. They don't smell nice, but they really help for the pain.
Mm-hmm. The dung poultice.
Yeah, something like that. Because it's probably made primarily from urine or shit or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, the healing properties of fecal matter.
Yeah. Known throughout the ages.
Yes.
So you are all standing right next to each other. You're technically still militiamen. Well, at least you're still bulldogs.
Right.
So you're trying to, or maybe not. I don't know, but I guess that you're trying to look at least a bit professional.
Yeah, didn't the general essentially conscript us? I don't know if, I wasn't sure if it was in his military or I just don't know how it all works.
Yeah, well, you are right now serving in Talabheim army.
Right.
Your commanding officer is General York Hefner, the leader of Tao's Chosen, and here he comes, and with an escort of 4 knights in gleaming armor, carrying heavy double-handed swords on their backs. General is also.
And he gave us a thing, like a letter with his orders and his seal and everything on it, right? He gave us something like that. But...
Yeah, he gave you something like that. Yeah. General is a powerful built man, almost 2 meters tall, heavily muscled. He has wide shoulders, an impressive mustache, and he dresses in this peculiar Talabheim, or rather Talabeklander mix of formal military uniform and armor and furs, which gives him this half-furrow look, which is actually rather intimidating. He walks right to you. Excuse me, Jason?
I was gonna, I guess, if I know how to, I would salute him as he approaches.
Yeah, you threw a salute. At ease, man. He speaks. Right. You're up. I'm glad to see that. Your cart is ready. Your provisions are ready. Oh, okay, Andy. Your provisions are ready. You will leave within 1 hour. Grab your last hot meal, and then do your duty. Any questions? No?
I don't have any.
No.
Excellent.
I think he gave us a map too with the latest intel.
Yeah, he said he gave us maps. Or he said he was going to give us some maps. I'm assuming that's all in the gear that he's prepared for us.
Yeah, it is. For simplicity's sake, let's say that this map is a very detailed map of Talabheim and the neighboring cities, towns, like that map that we have on roll 20.
Okay.
The upper one, of course.
What neighborhood should we start in?
It's up to you. Sergeant Van Zandt and his 2 pistoliers will escort you to within 1 hour of Talabheim itself. If you'd like to reach other places before that, Van Zandt and his men also have orders to provide you with an escort there.
Okay.
But within 1 hour of the city, they will leave you. You have to drive your cart alone. I suggest, of course, taking an utmost caution.
Can
Just
you
laughing at Andrew in the chat.
What?
like he said, sorry, my kids are making a ton of noise, and it's just random dice rolling.
Oh.
It's like there's a fight going on. He's rolling for his character.
Accident.
Rolling to subdue children.
Yeah, don't worry, Andy. It happens. Anyway, yes.
Can we perhaps get assigned a servant to watch the horse while we're inside the city? Just to
Unfortunately,
remain on the outskirts.
I can't spare any more men. You're on your own.
Okay.
In fact,
Maybe-
I would rather that after you reach the city and unpack yourself, so to speak, that you send the horses back to Dankerud. They know the way. We might need them.
Okay, so just let them go on their own, or will there be somebody
Yes.
to take back?
They are smart. They are smart animals. They will find their way back.
Okay.
Cart will not draw any suspicions. After all, there are many of them in Talabheim, and the Ratmen are not exactly known for their skills at riding the carts.
Is there a concern that any messages traveling outside of Talabheim could be intercepted by agents of Skaven? Should we take that
Agents of
precaution?
Skaven, you are already talking about men collaborating with the enemy. As you said, agents of Skaven, you know, the knights, the escorts, growled something behind their metal visors, and made a show of force, so to speak.
I don't understand.
Well,
Like, didn't he mention?
you are already suggesting, Private, that men in Talabheim are collaborating with the enemy.
I thought he said that when we were. I thought he told us to be watchful of that in our meeting. That's why I brought it up again. Did he not?
Perhaps, but he didn't told you that in front of his men, who are all from Talabheim.
No.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference. And he looks at you with this intent look as to shut the fuck up.
Well, I don't know. Like, I was assuming that we were discussing with him. I don't.
There's always a possibility of bad men doing bad things, Private, but for now, let's assume, for our sakes, that none such thing has happened. Of course, if you find any evidence of traitorous ways, you know what to do. I've sent my best men outside the crater. I'm confident that at least some of them made it out alive, and that the Empire will send help. But
All right, well,
don't try sending any messages outside. It's too dangerous.
It's a strange order.
Wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought that was the whole point. We were supposed to go there and find stuff and send back information, but okay.
You are to provide us with intelligence.
Yes.
You are to provide us with knowledge of Skaven leaders, of their intents.
Okay.
You do not, however, have the expertise, skills, the resources to successfully send a message outside without it being intercepted by the Skaven. If
That is kind of true.
you gather any important information, send back to us in Dankerud, and then we'll do the rest.
How are we sending them back to you?
Well, I don't know, Private. You can probably just walk back.
Okay, so you want? Okay, so we're okay. We're
Yes.
the messengers. All right.
Or when, because it's not even if, it's when you recruit honest, dependable men, you can use them for such tasks.
Understood.
I want one last thing. I want to be very clear. You are to enter Talabheim itself, not its outskirts, and create the resistance within Talabheim itself. I know that it's extremely dangerous, and I know that I'm asking a lot of you. But this is the Empire. These are my orders. carry them out. Dismissed.
Understood. I have a write-up that I kind of give to the general, outlining what we're intending to do. Just a piece of paper with
what we
with,
spoke about, right?
Yeah, just a general understanding of what we're intending to do and how we're going to go about doing it.
All right. One of the knights approached the general with a lantern, and the general quickly read your notes. They all seem fine. Rather ambitious, but then again, that's not a bad thing if you can carry it out. Your comrades know about your ideas, Private?
I was going to discuss it with them on our way to the on the road.
That's probably a good idea. At some point,
I was going to discuss
I'd
it
like
as
to
it's
hear these
happening.
plans.
Well, I was going to discuss it prior to, but everything kind of
Yes, I understand. Anyway, I really need to go. Like I said, you have your orders, carry them out. May Tal watch over you, and may Mighty Sigmar protect you. The whole of Talabheim depends on you right now. I'm sure that you'll carry out your duty, whatever it takes. With that, he waited for you to salute him. And,
I salute him.
And after that,
I give a salute where I'm clearly not in the military.
yeah.
It's kind of like,
After that, he of course returned the salute, and he and his escort, moved on. One of the guards who woke you, basically told you something along the lines of "Follow me, please," and brought you to the
Walk this way!
Yes, well, but much, quieter. And walked you right to the edge of Dankerud, where you see a small cart with two horses. What's the word? Attached?
Yeah.
Yeah, attached to it.
Sure.
There are also three soldiers on horses right next to the cart. Two of them are very young men, maybe 18 years old max. They're dressed in half-plate and carry a brace of pistols on them and around their saddles. Even though they look very young, it's clear that they've already seen combat. One of them has a bloody bloody bandage over his left eye, and you can see that both of them are bandaged. Their uniforms are dirty, torn, and bloodied in a few places. The third man, obviously their leader, is dressed similarly to them, although his armor is a bit more elaborate, with a long wolfskin fur hanging from his shoulders. He's got an impressive waxed mustache and a very thin beard. His helmet is rather interesting in that the helmet's left ocular. Well, I mean, there's an ocular on the on the left side of the helmet. It kind of reminds you of Deadeye's. However, this one is just a simple steel reticle. This man also has a lot of pistols on him, including a 6-barreled monstrosity. But that's not his most impressive weapon. His most impressive weapon, nestled in the crook of his arm, is a very long rifle with a telescopic sight, and the barrel, covered in some kind of dark fabric to better conceal it. The soldier stops before the man. "Sergeant Van Zandt, here are the men that you are to escort to Talabheim." "Thank you, Sonny," says the man. "You can go back now." "Yes, sir." The young man turned around, nodded to you, and came back the way he came. Van Zandt looks at each of you for quite some time. "Well, what are you waiting for? Get on the cart. Anyone of you knows how to ride it?"
Yes, I have
Congratulations,
Dri-
you're
yeah,
the
I
designated
drive.
driver.
Okay.
Get up behind
Go
those
ahead.
reins.
Yeah, Leopold, why don't you drive?
Yeah, I'll do it. I have drive skill.
All right. Now, one thing. While we are on the road, you can only speak very, very quietly to each other. No singing, no shouting, no belching or farting loudly. Am I right?
We are sons of Wissenland. We never sing.
That's a shame. I was gonna pay two silver for a shot with that rifle.
Oh, I'm sorry, little man, but even the Emperor's ransom would not allow you to take my beloved rifle into your hands. Nothing personal. I just don't like it being touched by other men. So, anyway, off we go.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Well, if you say so. Off we go. Now, and essentially, of course, you all got up. You all got into the cart. On the back of the cart, under few sheets of thick waxed fabric, there are your provisions. Barrels and crates of food, clean water, stuff like that. Although I just want to emphasize that there is not a lot of this, of this stuff. For you, sure, but you know that if you are going to recruit more men, then these supplies will very quickly dry out. Sorry. Just so you know. When you got up on the cart, I presume that most of you went to the back, and Leopold is driving, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yes.
Van Zandt looks at you and basically asks, "All right. Now, my orders are to leave you 1 hour before, approximately 1 hour before you reach Talabheim. The roads to the city, well, we don't really know how dangerous they are, and those damn rats have a very keen eyesight. Something that young Otto here," he points at the soldier with the, rag over his left eye, "can attest to. So, my question is, do you want to hit any places before we reach Talabheim? If yes, if so, tell me this now. And only now."
What do you guys think?
Well, I thought last session we were discussing about creating a communication network between the ends, but I think the general intends at least us to be delivering the messages, so maybe we don't need to do that quite yet.
All right. So,
That's what I'm thinking. Is, do you guys agree? Should we just head straight to Talabheim?
I think any inns on the
Yeah.
way there, maybe we should try to recruit. But if there's no inns, then there's no point.
I thought that part of it was that we didn't really have time to, we don't have time to build a whole organization and all that stuff, that we're supposed to get in and report back fairly quickly. That was my understanding of it.
Because wasn't it weekly reports or was it daily reports? How long does it take?
No, daily. It's almost impossible to.
Yeah, I didn't think it was daily, but
Yeah.
but no, just when we were sort of talking about it last time, and you were talking about the need to set up a network and all this. I don't think we have time. It's not that we have to do everything within a day, but in order to go around to all the places to get the people, I don't think we have time for that. That's what I'm saying.
Unless we get people helping us.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to, so I forget, we're in Donkerud.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. There isn't really a lot of places in between Talabheim and Donkerud.
Well, he didn't say, he didn't told you that this place had to be between. If you want to reach any other place within the crater, with
Oh, no, yeah. don't think we need to.
Yeah.
Like if there's inns on the way or something like that, then maybe. But I don't think it's necessary.
Because they haven't been marked on the map, but there are a few smaller villages, like essentially just a few houses here and there that you can reach. Just saying.
Yeah, if we pass anything, we'll stop and see if there's people there.
Yeah.
All right, says Van Zandt,
Yeah.
while also chewing on a piece of dried meat.
How
Sure.
long is the trip by cart?
You should reach Talabheim before dark today. Like I said, we'll be traveling slowly. With those things, you can be too sure. They are awfully good shots. I don't want to take any chances. So,
Have they been spotted outside the wall?
what do you mean outside the wall?
Talabheim
Outside of
proper.
the city.
Yeah. We are not going to approach the wall, boy.
Yes, but have you found them in the countryside outside of Talabheim?
No, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any.
All right.
Like I said, we are careful not because we know that they are outside of Talabheim. We are careful. We are being careful because we are not sure if they're not outside Talabheim. If you get my
Alright.
drift.
Yeah. Understood.
Excellent. All right. Let's see your car driving skills in action.
Could
Move out.
Could you create a document and then I can send you the little thing I wrote up that I gave to the general, and then also kind of share with the group if we want to just kind of consolidate ideas on it?
Well, you can always tell them.
Yeah.
I think it's more fun.
All right.
I
Do you
do
need
ride
me
in
to
the-
roll with my drive skill?
No, just you don't have to.
Okay.
If a rat
Good.
ogre would be chasing you, then yeah, maybe, but normally no.
I've got my sling ready to go in hand.
All right.
I'm going to curse the sky above because it's probably very cold out in the morning.
Yeah,
and
it is. It's bitingly cold outside. You are very
Yep.
grateful to the general for your, thick winter clothing. But even with that, you can feel the cold just seeping into your bones. It's not a pleasant feel.
I am,
Anyway.
by the way, back now, off of mute.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, you are heading out. Driving from Dankerud towards Talabheim. And during that time, Jason will present you with his plan.
All right. So I guess the just to go over the situation that's going on, there's Skaven that took the city, and then there's Skaven that created the plague, and they were at war with each other apparently. And I don't now. Do our characters know that the Skavens that created the plague were wiped out by the other Skavens?
Well, you saw them running from those Skaven, getting
Yeah,
shot by them, and remember that you also found them in the tunnels with Kopinski.
Okay.
Right.
So I just wasn't sure if we knew which Skavens were which at the time.
Oh, what's this? We found them in the tunnels with Kopinski. What's that?
Yeah.
They
When we were in the
they were
sewers.
slaughtered.
Were you not there?
Okay,
Were you not
okay.
there
No,
that
no. I thought you meant in the last session, like we found
No.
Kopinski.
No.
I thought had
We're-
died with the
No.
escape. Okay, never mind. Never
It's
mind.
like when you're watching a show and the flashback goes, and they're like, "Wow, that's." They're going back many episodes back.
Yeah, I'm kind of going over the whole everything we know about Talabheim right now. So there's the Skavens that took the city, which are different than the Skaven that created the plague. But the Skaven that created the plague appeared to be wiped out by the Skaven that took the city. And then we also know that there's a necromancer who's allied with the Skaven that took the city that can create.
I'm not sure it's safe to
undead
assume
army.
they were wiped out. Might have lost
Yeah,
the battle.
that's a question, but I think that's something we might be able to leverage. The fact that there's Skaven fighting Skaven. And of course there's a Necromancer, which we don't know a whole lot about, except for where she worked. And then we have I guess it's the remnants of an army in Dunkerroot, and then we are going to try to create a resistance in Talabheim. And then the only other friendly forces are hopefully en route towards the Wizard's Way. Did I name that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we are to create a resistance within Talabheim. So this is kind of how I was thinking. We have our team, which has certain objectives, but then I was thinking we create resistance teams, which generally operate independently. Like, we'll give them certain tasks, certain objectives, and then we can kind of every so often consolidate the information that they have with the information we have, and then we can send out our messenger, or we can deliver the consolidated information out. But I guess here are some objectives. We need to establish safe houses for like critical assets like VIPs, medical, resting, supply caches. We need to recruit resistance to monitor and harass the invaders. We need to gather information on the Skaven's primary intentions. Then we need to send regular reports back to the general.
Oh yeah, sorry, by the way, my mistake, because right now Leopold, Vincent is a lieutenant, Leopold is a sergeant, and Sally and Lucas are privates. It's even in the last notes. Yeah, like I said, you are full-fledged soldiers right now. Carry on, Jason. Sorry.
Okay. So we are sending regular reports back to General Hefner on the activities of the invaders. We will, at some point, on the arrival of the Empire armies, will need to breach the gate at the High Watch, which is at the top of the Wizard's Way.
Right.
And if we can, depending on the situation, locate the Countess and, if possible, execute a rescue.
Executor.
I think the most immediate objective should be we find a place that's already been somewhat fortified or secured and hole up there for the night, because we're getting in late and we can't be scavenging around for too long when it gets dark, because those things see better than us.
Yeah. Now, to kind of continue, for the resistance teams, I'm thinking if we could create independent teams that operate in their designated areas, and these will be their objectives. Mark Skaven patrol routes with colored cloth. So if it's a cold color cloth, like blues and greens, it means that road is not being patrolled. But if it's warm colored cloth, it means it is being patrolled, like reds and yellows. And then they will mark the strength of the patrols close to the colored cloth using a secret sign of some sort. So those who know them
I got those.
Well, that's what I was just when you said that. What I was wondering is could we do that all with like secret signs, the thief secret signs?
Yeah, we're gonna be relying on these, I think. To
so that all that information is just in thief secret sign, posted. Like there's 200 that pass by here every 5 hours or whatever. Just write it on the wall.
Yeah, the colored cloth is more of a visual indicator, and then the secret sign will be somewhere within the 3 paces away with more information.
Okay, well, I just did because it's fine. I just was curious as to whether or not the Skaven be like, why are they all these colored cloths?
Well, yeah, Yeah, it won't be excessive. It'll be,
Okay.
one might be in the doorway, one might have a rock on it, one.
Do we want to set like booby traps or anything for them, or is this resistance just a message gather or information gathering plan, or is it more like the French in World War II?
I think we want to put traps up at least where we're staying around the perimeter, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And more as we go.
Let me get through the rest of this real quick. But yeah, so then for larger patrols, this is again for the resistance teams that we recruit. For larger patrols, engage with like crossbows from concealed locations, kind of hit and run, avoiding the rooftops because we know they have snipers. For smaller teams, smaller patrols, ambush and eliminate the patrols. And then if we have the ability, stage the wiped out patrols with Skaven weapons and gear to imply that there's infighting or perhaps that there are plague Skaven still in the area. That way it kind of draws more attention away from human insurgents and kind of keeps the tension between the Skaven. And then finally, the smaller resistance teams will create and leave daily reports in a designated location that we can collect to evaluate and consolidate and then send back to command. As far as supplies, we have rations for ourselves, but for the resistance teams, we'll have to scavenge, or they'll have to be responsible for that. I don't know if we can set traps for birds and kind of make that a source of food. I just don't know what the situation is like right now in there. Keep fires small and controlled. Weapons and equipment are those are all going to be what we have or what we can salvage. And any captured material we can use to stage infighting. Let's see what else. I think that's really about it. We may want to come up with how to signal between, like visual signals between groups, just like a challenge and password type of thing. And then I think that's just about it. So that's my general layout, and that's what I gave to the general. So do you guys think I missed anything big, or what do you want to add to that?
No, that seems pretty thorough.
I think once we get to town, the situation's got to be fluid, though. Like, the main thing tonight is surviving and finding a place tonight, and then we can worry about objectives tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, the way we left the city, we left through Tal's Garden, and that seemed to be pretty unoccupied. Where do you want to try setting up that first safe house?
Manor District, maybe?
Well, the one thing that occurred to me, and I don't know, since we've already been there, is What's-Her-Face's house. Although she did have tunnels going down to the Skaven. But but that's a place that we know that we've been to before.
I guess my concern would be, now that the city has been taken, would she not return and continue her work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we want to end up in some place that is totally unconspicuous. So, if we go back to the, if we go to the rich area, like that's where they're going to be looking for people, because that's where people are either, if there's humans, they're either going to be looting or, trying whatever. Like,
what about Dobblers?
So that might be a better spot, as just any place that is, I think, just so generically middle class. Well, that it is inconspicuous.
Let's find a place just within the city limits tonight, and then we'll worry about finding
so. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Now, there's probably going to be a lot of civilian, like the Skaven leaders. Pretty much command was do what we say and live and resist and die. So there's probably going to be civilians either being enslaved or not yet under the control of Skavens. So there's probably going to be people around. Like Dabbler still may be in his house. Like I guess we don't know how much of the city. We can assume it's all been taken, but is it all occupied?
Well, Dabbler fled with us towards God's Row. I don't remember what happened to him after that.
He was pulled off with all the civilian non-coms and sent off to wherever they sent them to. We were separated there.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree with Sally. We get in. We basically find the first place that we can.
Now
for the night, and then from there on, I think again, I mean, making it towards Dabbler's is not a bad idea, but I think we want to stick in some place that's, like I said, just so generically middle class. It's big enough that we can get in there and we can do our stuff, but it and we can actually properly guard it, unlike something in the slums. But it's not going to be. Again, if you're looking for somebody, like if you're looking where people are going to be congregating, you're going to be looking in places that are, lavish because whatever, or big, or those, or some place that's being fortified or easily fortifiable in an obvious sense. So we have to kind of think a little harder than the easy result. And a big manor house is going to be easier to fortify because it's got multiple levels. You can block up the doors, but it probably has some kind of hidden passageway, and you can get up high and shoot, and stuff like that, which we don't necessarily want to, because we're not leading a, we don't want to draw attention to us. So again, I agree with Sally. We basically just take the first place that works for the night, but then try to hit, maybe the trade quarter or whatever, where people are living above shops and stuff like that. Try to find kind of a townhouse or something in the middle of the area that's just again completely non-conspicuous.
I think the Guild's Row would be a good area to operate out of. I think there's going to be a lot of resources there and a lot of knowledge there.
Well, that's what I was just thinking, that we can, if it's empty, that gives us looting potential for stuff we could actually use versus I'm not that we want to be running around looting, but if we find we have a need for X tool or whatever, someplace where there's a commercial district nearby, that's where we're going to be able to find the tools we need.
One thing that occurred to me when we were talking about this is we're not exactly inconspicuous, because I feel like right now I'm probably the most geared up I've been the entire time we've been adventuring, as far as like armor and weapons.
Well, I mean, I think we have to assume that any Skaven that sees us will be intending to either kill us or capture us, regardless of whether we're head to toe in rags or in full gear. So I think that's not as much of a concern, simply because I think at least until we have intelligence that says otherwise at this point.
Well, but essentially we just don't want to be seen at all by the Skaven if we can help it.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's that. Now there's going to be probably civilians that will be in chains, or I don't know if they're allowing the Talabheimers to go about their business in some constrained fashion, or if they're rounding them up.
Yeah, I thought that was sort of the point of the Jumbotron thing. Yeah. It was just like they're sort of mentally chained at this point, as far as intimidated into being complicit.
Yeah, and I think that's a big point in trying to make it whatever aggression we do against the Skaven, if we can swing it to where it looks like infighting, it's going to keep the tension off of the Talabheimers.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think, if we have to kill, I mean, obviously we want to dispose of things as much as possible anyway, because we don't even want to make, I mean, again, I think it's more about, at least for us, being inconspicuous. While, yes, if we can't completely dispose of it, we need to make it look like it was other Skaven.
Yeah.
But I mean, ideally, we won't even leave traces of what we have to do.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when I was on my way up to link with you guys up on top of the temple, I saw a Skaven stab another Skaven right in the back, intentionally, it looked like. And then, on a separate occasion, after I lost the Skaven, I heard two of them discussing that, neither one of them wanted to take the lead because of what the other might do if they turn their back to them. So I think even within the same force, there can be infighting. So.
Well, and that might be something that we do as part of the resistance if we can, if we can get behind groups of them and do something that makes the front think that the back just attacked him.
A single crossbow bolt into a formation might look like a backstab.
Exactly.
So, what color are the fletchings of your crossbow bolts, Leopold? Can we get those?
I don't know. What are they?
They look exactly like the same color as the fur. How convenient.
Hmm.
Well, that's what I was saying too. I mean, obviously, hitting him with a crossbow, you only have so much accuracy. But even if you can actually do things like hit them in places that won't kill them, if you do it that way they can turn around and start screaming and yelling versus just dropping dead. And the other, because if they're that backstabby, the guy next to Joe probably doesn't care that you just killed Joe, so long as you don't kill him.
Yeah.
So we want one of them that can make us. We want to injure them without. But leave them in a position where they can still turn around and make a scene. I think booby traps kind of that would be a good, like, if we can figure out something like that, or even like throwing knives. Throwing knives would be awesome for something like that because and you get them in the shoulder with a knife. That's that. You don't even have to disguise that as anything. Of course, the Skaven are walking around with knives. So,
yeah. We'll have to consolidate their weapons. What do we know? We know they use like muskets. Have we seen any other ranged weapons that they use? Do we know that they use slings or? It's kind of a question for Miguel.
Sounds like he's off doing something.
Yeah. So, yeah, all that stuff is good. I don't know. Deadeye's place is in the Talos, and quite frankly, I think survivors in the Talos will most likely be already creating their own resistance. If the type of characters that are there, that I think are there. Mm-hmm. So, but that might be a place that already has a lot of supplies if we could get to it. But I think Guilds Row might have a lot of clever people. Like, I don't know what kind of guilds there are. There might be crafts guilds, but there might also be swordsman guilds or archery guilds or things along those lines that we can kind of leverage. I don't know how many people we'd be able to recruit in the Noble District. I think that will be, I don't know if they would be, or the Manor District.
Yeah, well, and a lot of those people, those are the people that either would have had the means to escape, or the most reason to be subservient, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, I have a feeling they would be they would point somebody out to protect themselves more.
Yes.
And so I say I don't know if that would be a very good place to conduct operations in general.
no, again, I agree with the guild district idea. I think that's, again, we get in tonight, we find a place for the night, and then we move over to the guild area, or any kind of commercial area. Really, I think would be the place to go. But that's also the kind of place where you're going to be able to find some larger, maybe windowless, empty rooms and things like that. There's storage and stuff like that because obviously, like at night, we don't want to be having lights on and stuff because that's going to be conspicuous. So
a lot of shops with supplies as well.
Yeah, right.
What's the Geltwood district? Just underneath the law district. I don't even know what that is. Theme park? Gelt World?
Would that be
Grand Count House of Edicts is there. I don't know what that is.
Sounds like it's the money district then.
Sounds
Michael,
really far
we can barely hear you, Mike.
Sorry, I had my mic up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Gautod district is actually known also as the Golden Forest, and it is in fact the money district.
We should probably stay away from there then, because the Skaven, we have to assume, are going to probably be raiding money. Because I think we have, because we are humans, we have to assume they have some need for money. So whether we know out of game that may or may not be true,
good thinking. I like it.
We have to assume that they want money, and
there's going to be humans there that are going to be suspicious of anybody in the area because it's a crisis environment and there's a bunch of money and there's going to be people that are going to want to defend their money with excessive violence.
Yeah.
So suspicious figures walking around that area might get pointed out, much like the Manor District.
Van Zandt actually slows his horse and he levels his riding with your cart. Alright, gents. Now, we have 3 options, basically. We can approach the city from the north, reach the Schwarzhold North Gate, the Tal Garden, or Darkrook Downs. We can approach the city from the east and reach the Manor District, or we can approach the city from the south, the Guild Row. Now, it's up to you. Where do you want us to go first? Well, actually, not first.
The south.
The south.
Yeah,
I thought that's what we were just discussing, is getting in the guild row, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if I may give you one piece of advice, those provisions, right, that you have with you, avoid frying or baking any food, right? These things are animals. They will.
I'm shaking my head at it. Like,
yeah, they will very quickly smell the smoke.
Yep. Fires will be kept small or not at all.
Actually, the second option is better. Just so you know. All right.
Yeah, that's why I was talking about. That's one of the other advantages, I think, of the guild row, is that we're going to find more storage rooms in buildings there that are going to have 0 windows and stuff like that.
That's a good thinking. I can see that you're a real Talabheim. And actually, in Jason's notes, there's a list of equipment that each of you got, as well as the general equipment, so to speak. Well, the gear split between group and gear supplied to each individual. So you can all add the appropriate gear to your character sheets.
Yeah, so we need to figure out who wants to take the lantern and the oil. That's, I think, the only group item that isn't distributed yet. And then the military writing kit, I guess we can just, whoever can read it and write, we can disperse that between them.
Yeah.
I already have a writing kit.
Leopold,
Yes.
you're a man of a lantern. Would you like to take the storm lantern?
Sure.
I am overburdened as is.
AKA firebomb.
Yeah. So anyway,
Would that be the small metal lantern? I
It's
think
a
you already
storm
gave-
lantern.
it's a storm lantern.
Okay, because I have in my notes from last time that I have a small metal lantern, so I'm assuming that that's you probably did, or I thought we divvied that up to me, but maybe let me just look at the group thing again. Okay, I do have the two torches. Yeah, I think it's okay. So storm lantern.
Yeah, I don't think they're
And-
very small though.
No, storm lanterns are not small. They're actually rather
Okay,
big.
well for some reason I wrote down small, so
All right.
So I am under the impression that I have like full mail armor and all that stuff, because I thought that's what we did last time, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weaponed up, and the only thing I didn't take was a shield.
Yeah. I have
I-
I have to leave the spear behind for any sake of being able to move around. So
Oh,
it's
really?
just, yeah, I have the sword and the shield. I'm holding onto the shield.
Oh,
But even then, I'm still pretty overweight. Like, the spear is in the wagon, but I don't know if I'll be taking it into the city.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I have that I have a spear, but yeah, I maybe the same concerns will be around. I don't know. Storm lantern. So.
Because even without the spear, I'm like 80 over.
Mm.
With a week's worth of rations and the backpacks and everything, which if we're moving around the city, I probably won't have that stuff with me, but
Yeah.
Right.
it's...
Anyway, you change course and move further south. Van Zandt and his pistoliers, one in front of you and the other, guarding the back, are of course very alert. They are looking in all directions for a possible ambush.
Everybody make note of our turns and our directions, so if we need to make it back alone to Dunkerwood by ourselves, that we'd be able to. We don't want to get lost again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind you, of course, is the great Talgrunar forest, and all around you are fields. The fields are empty, the sky is overcast, there's a chill wind blowing, all across the fields. You don't see any other people. You don't see any other travelers, any peasants, any other soldiers. It's just you. This sense of almost empty, almost complete emptiness is actually not that pleasant. And as you approach Talabheim, this sense of emptiness is replaced with a sense of dread. There are still a few black smoke stacks coming from the city, but other than that, you don't hear anything from the eye of the forest. No sounds of fighting, no roars, no cries, nothing. It's like this place is abandoned. It takes actually 2 more hours until Van Zandt and his men stop. He approaches you and says quietly, "Alright, this is where we part ways. About an hour from here is Talabheim. If you ride that road," he points to the road leading north, you come up right to Gildrow. I hope that you succeed. Best wishes to you." He
Thank
salutes.
I shake his hand.
All right. He's like, he's quite surprised at this gesture, but after a split second, of course, he shakes your hand as well. Well, how's luck be with you? Give those furry fucks a real hell from all of us. And with that, he gestures to his men with some elaborate military sign, and they all drive back towards Dunkerud. You're left alone.
We have to be watchful for the things that a dead city can create that aren't Skaven and beasts.
Mm.
I'm no stranger to ghosts and the stories of wiped out cities being haunted. So keep your gods with you. I guess we're still
Sigmar
moving
is
in.
always by my side.
We're still on the cart, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna.
of course.
Okay, so we're riding the cart a little further.
All right.
So we have to figure out how to get inside the walls, eh?
Do we want to cache some of these rations outside the city? I don't think we're going to be able to roll barrels into the city.
Yeah, I think so. Whether we're burying them in a hole or sticking them in some trees or something. Yeah, I think we probably do, because you're right. We can't really be rolling barrels into the city. That would be a little bit conspicuous.
Well, let's like the first safe house we get to, we'll leave some there, and then the next safe house we find, we'll leave some there, and after a while, we'll have a whole network of.
Well, but I think at this point, we stash them somewhere outside of the city, and just because we can't.
We have the cart too, right?
Yeah, but we can't just roll the cart into the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was getting at. Is like, how are we getting inside and yeah. So if we need to find a place to stash the cart and the supplies outside the city, are there any like farmhouses or something or gullies around wooded copse?
Find like a thicket and cover it in branches or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good enough.
What is that? We're gonna cover the horses in the cart in branches too?
No, we're gonna let them loose back to Dunkerwood.
Oh, okay.
So
So essentially, we're just gonna bury the cart somewhere. More or less.
Yeah.
Stash it somewhere.
Did he
Right.
did he not say to send the whole cart back with the horses?
No, he did not.
Okay, so yeah, we can take the wheels off the cart and then just.
In fact, he even said that the cart wouldn't be conspicuous at all, being left on the roadside. So,
You know what?
Okay.
We could flip it upside down and then use it as a shelter for whatever we're hiding as well, in case
Dry
we get
goods
some
and stuff.
bad weather. A little hasty hide for.
if we're gonna do that, though, we should probably move it some way off of the road. Not so far that it looks suspicious, but not so close that people want to come look under it.
Yeah. We'll take an
Let's do
actual
it.
pin so it can't be taken.
There you go.
All right. So you approach
And then-
the city from the south, the Guildrow. You drive towards the Guildrow.
Let's wait till dark before we move into the city.
No. Let's get into the city first, and then. hold up.
Okay, well, so we need to get rid of this stuff and hide it first, right? Because we just said we're not taking it in the city, right? So we need to find a place to stash the stuff, let the horses go, and then go into the city.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know. I mean, that's just it. Is we might. So you don't want to wait for darkness, but are we worried about being seen? Are we worried about? Are they guarding the gates? I don't know.
I'm worried if we go in when it's dark, they'll see us before we see them. You know what I mean?
Well,
I
and it's
totally
also-
understand.
Yeah, I mean, I think that moving around in the light is easier for us, and we're less likely to do something stupid in an area we don't know if it's light.
No, that's true.
You know. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hide this junk, and then.
There's also probably not going to be any like gas lights or lanterns in the city. It's going to be completely dark. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are leaving the cart. What?
Yeah, let's flip it over.
Yeah,
off
there
the side
are
the road.
of course single houses before the city. Some kind of cottages, something like that. Some warehouses.
Oh, that actually, if we could stash it like in the barn of a cottage or something.
Yeah, there are barns. There are no problem. You can
Yeah, let's do that. Let's stash it in one of those because that's going to look even less inconspicuous.
Hey.
You know.
Yeah, let's check for occupants in the main house, and if it's occupied, maybe we can
Pick another one. But
we can either pick another one, or we can gauge their
actually,
loyalty.
No, we find one that's empty. We put the cart in there. We stash the stuff under hay or whatnot, or fill the cart full of hay or whatever, so it looks like. Because obviously, I mean, barns are actually like if I was going looking for provisions, a barn is probably where I would go. But But if we can, make it so that if somebody's in a rush, they don't have time to search it well enough. I think that's a better option than just flipping it over and out in the field and leaving it there for the animals and whatnot. So let's stash it in a barn, and I think either depending on how high the sides of the cart and versus the material in the cart is, either fill the cart full of hay or stash stuff under hay real quick.
Yeah, you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
Without many problems. Sorry. Okay, so you approach one of the barns. There are no people in any of the houses that you're passing by. They either all left, or you don't really want to think about the alternative. Anyway. You've parked the cart inside. I presume you let the horses go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you see that they are trotting away in the direction of the Dankerud, and then you've spent quite some time covering the cart with hay. So of course my question is, what did you left on the cart? And what are you taking with you?
What sort of rations are there?
Mainly dried and smoked stuff, water. That's it. Essentially, it's you were just given food.
Let's just bring 3 or 4 days worth of rations, maybe.
All right. Well, we only have a week's worth of rations each.
Well, let's bring like 3 days worth each, and we'll have backup here.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Sally, do you want to just kind of treat that cache as the war chest and keep track of what we leave behind as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So it's 4 days of rations per person, so we're leaving behind 16 rations.
All right. I assume that you, of course, take all the weapons with you, take your armor, take the clothes.
Yeah. The backpack, the bedrolls, the blankets.
The lantern, Leopold?
What about, what do you guys think about the lantern? Because we're probably not going to be able to light it, but on the off chance that we might need it, I think I should probably bring it. What do you think?
Yeah.
How big is it?
It's probably like a cubic foot, I would imagine.
Yeah, actually, it's almost as big as your forearm, and I mean, height-wise, and it's wide as, I don't know, 30 centimeters, maybe.
Oh, let's
maybe
leave
a bit
it.
more.
That's too big to try to sneak in the first time. We can come back and get that.
Yeah, if we need it to signal like the armies of the Empire, we know where it's at.
Okay, well we do have the torches too. So, so are you guys? Who else has a spear? Were we thinking of not carrying the spears with us this time?
I'm leaving the spear behind just because it's. I think we ought to remain relatively mobile this first day in until we could get situated, and then if we need to, we can. Like I have my sword, dagger.
Did I get another club?
I'm pretty sure you did.
Okay.
Because I re-equipped club, dagger, crossbow, and spear. But I'll leave the spear behind too, just to not have something clunky around that I can't really carry.
You have the dwarven warhammer.
I do.
Yeah, didn't you take that instead of your club? Because I was taking the spear again. I offered it to you. I thought you took it.
I was going to say I thought you took the dwarven warhammer, but
I took it, then I gave it back to you because I got a spear from the Sigmarite dorms. It's up to you. It doesn't matter.
I don't remember. Well, it was all just hand weapon anyway. Maybe. Oh, okay. I see what it is here. Let me look through my notes here. Yeah, I think perhaps the club I have written on here. Geez, I don't know. All right, well, let's just say it's a dwarven warhammer. It's a hand weapon.
It's a simple hand weapon. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, but just for fun, let's say it's a dwarven warhammer, because that makes it fun.
Yeah. It may get you more if you ever want to sell it.
Well, no.
But you're a Sigmarite. You should. Yeah.
You should stick with the hammer.
Mm-hmm. It's hammer time.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. So you've left your stuff. Some of you. I mean, you left some of your stuff. You took some of your stuff. The card is covered. It's actually already getting pretty dark. Remember that in Talabheim the sun sets a lot quicker because of the high crater walls, and you are near to the western crater walls. You need to act fast if you want to get inside the city before it's completely dark, because these creatures thrive in the darkness, and you do not.
All right.
It's leather and mail. Is that 2 points of armor?
3.
Yeah.
3. Wow.
Yeah, if you have full mail with the leather, it's 3.
Yeah, but you need to have full mail, like.
Right. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So we only have 2 then, right?
No, we have full leather and full mail.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, except Lucas, who for some reason only has studded leather armor.
Yeah, that's what you guys told me.
Yeah, because you told us that he wouldn't want the mail because he's a Tal person.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Tal's. Yeah,
Lucas, we would have gotten you mail, but Miguel talked us out of it. So we got you studded.
Well, that's fine, because it's really good, because I think I'm pretty sure I need mail for my next career. So I mean, you're just delaying that. So thank you guys.
You can always
we try.
You can always borrow it from them.
Here, put this on for. Can I try this on for?
For 200 XP
for a career change.
Yeah. I feel great. All right, here you go.
Okay, you approach the premises of the city. It's eerily quiet. There are almost no lights. You, of course, move very carefully, ever alert, ever vigilant. Closer and closer, you walk towards the guild row. At any moment you expect to hear gunshots or to hear a roar of one of the horrible rat beasts. But nothing's happening. At least for now. So, you enter Talabheim. Again. As you walk through the streets, you see many abandoned houses. You also see that many of them are still boarded up and marked with either the Red Cross or Shalaya's Rose, indicating that people inside are or were sick.
Yeah, let's not choose one of those places for a safe house.
If they're already dead and unoccupied, it may not be a bad idea to select one of those.
Of course, I presume that you are speaking very quietly to each other.
Yeah.
Cool.
I actually, I was probably, we wouldn't have said that at all. We would have just, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to that house over there. No one's inside.
Yeah.
What about one over there with the red shutters?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think like the first alleyway.
Sorry,
sorry.
Andy, just so you know, Guild Row. Buildings in Guild Row are very low. There are a lot of trees and high, hedges, and buildings are quite apart from each other. This place feels more like a village, like a country village, than a part of the city.
I'm going to. I'm assuming we're kind of moving slowly, so I'm going to take a break and scrape the dirt a little bit and take a look at what I see under the ground before I move on.
Yeah, I'd like to look around to see if I see any good places that would to be a safe house for the night. Any places that look like one we can get in, but would still keep prying eyes out. If that makes sense.
All right. So essentially, you can do this two ways. You can either all search for a safe house, and one person rolls, but he has bonuses from the others, or you can disperse and search for the safe house individually.
I mean, I kind of think as a group because I don't think we really want to separate too much.
Split the party. Yeah, no, I like the idea of lending my support to whoever is like lending my support to Lucas, who I feel knows what the hell he's doing about this sort of stuff.
Yeah, maybe not a house, but something that looks like a storage area. Would you agree, or?
Yeah, well, I mean, ideally, at this point, we just need to get in a place. So some place that's easy to get into, but simultaneously doesn't look easy to get into, if that makes sense. Or at least, like I don't want to have to like bust a door down or like because that makes noise or something like that. Or bust the boarded up windows or whatever, like so a place that looks like we can get in and maybe either refortify it quiet. Yeah, like I mean we try that's fine, but quietly, quickly get in, fortify it as best we can real quick, and then settle down for the night.
All right, agreed. So
who's searching? Who's rolling?
Lucas, do you want to search since?
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'll put my hand on your shoulder and give you all my positive energy.
Yeah.
Sending those positive vibes. Oh yeah. Come on, Lucas. Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Hold on.
So you got like a -9? Is that what?
Yeah. Essentially, Lucas in front and you were behind him, you found a very, very nice, very well, very good defensive-wise building. It was a forge before it got abandoned, and attached to this forge is also a small warehouse. Although the doors were left wide open, like in case of most buildings here that you were passing by, people probably tried to leave in a hurry. Fortunately, these doors, doors to this building, are not damaged. Inside, there's a single room where the blacksmith and his family probably lived. You see 3 beds, 2 of them adult-sized, 1 of them child-sized.
Or halfling size.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's just right.
There's of course, a small side kitchen. There's lavatories behind the back. Inside the warehouse there are crates. The crates are empty, though. But there's a bit of space there as well. You think that of all the buildings that you've passed by, this one seems to be the best, because right next to it there are a couple of rather big trees and a hedge. So it's from 2 sides, it's almost invisible.
And it's got a super sweet race car bed.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
Can we use silent move rural around here, or whatever that special
yes.
for us
you
rural
can.
folk?
You can. In Guild Row, yes.
Cool.
Okay. So the windows, they don't have there are no glass windows here. In the windows there are just shutters, but the shutters are thick, and they keep the cold away just fine.
We might also want to take some of the those big empty crates and stack them up behind the window so that it would further block. Because it's not going to look suspicious since the shutters are shut, right? But that would further keep any of our light or anything like that from getting out.
You can do that without any problems.
Whatever we do to the exterior of the house, we have to leave it as is. Minimize the changes. We can't have shutters open one time and then have them closed another time and then have them open the next day and then close the next. You know what I mean?
I would be shocked if we would even consider opening the shutters.
Well, if it'll make it dark, so we'll just be moving around at.
We might as well put a baking pie on the windowsill too, and I think we keep the shutters shut pretty much all the time.
Blinds us a bit, though.
Well, I don't know that we're staying here long either. This, I think, is at least for the first night, and then we do our watches and whatnot, and then tomorrow maybe we find a place that's a little bit better, because it is getting dark now, right?
Yeah,
it's already dark.
Already dark. Yeah.
As you enter the building, it's already dark outside, and it's really dark. There are no lights burning here. At least in this, you don't see any lights, burning in the vicinity. You haven't saw any lights before. Yeah.
Are there any candles in the house?
Let's see. Actually, I'm going to roll for that. Well, there is a fireplace, and there is wood. Actually, yes, there are, because I've rolled a 1, and you would find some only on a roll of 1.
Well, you rolled a d10 though.
Yeah, 1 on d10.
Okay.
Yeah, let's search the house too. See if we can find anything of use or valuable.
During the day.
I think we wait till the day to search the house.
Let's
Okay.
hunker down. Just hunker down for the rest of the night, I think.
Yeah, if we can use like I think a single candle, especially in the warehouse portion, because I'm assuming the warehouse portion has no windows, right?
Yeah, no windows at all.
Yeah. Yeah, we can use a single candle to I think set up everything in there, and then we should probably snuff it out. But do you have a guard in the house part, because there is going to be some moonlight coming in through that and whatnot, versus being pitch black. But then I don't know how many. I guess 3 hour 2 well no. Probably 2 hour rotations.
Yeah, I certainly want to minimize how much shuffling and moving and noise we do tonight. Like if we're going to fortify the windows, like
Well, we've not really fortified them. We just put the crates up so that it's an extra layer of insulation from light and stuff like that. Because if you got the shutters shut and then a crate behind the window. It's just another layer of wood. That's really just more there to keep the light, any light from if we have to have a light, that keeps that light from escaping out of the house. Just another screen to block that light.
Okay, but do we need to do it tonight, or can we do it during the day when it's
Well, he said
safer?
we already did it. He said we could do that easily.
Oh, okay.
Because the crates are empty, so they're pretty light. And like I said, I think we can get away with a small candle lit for the 10 minutes it takes to do that. So
Yeah, well, that's you basically have only a single candle, and of course it's that stinking fat candle that when burns, it produces this unpleasant, unpleasantly smelling smoke.
right, well, like I said, that's why we want to do it as fast as we can, and then get the candle snuffed out.
All right. So you've stacked the crates right next to the windows, blocking any light that could be coming from outside. You've barred the doors. You've barred the door because there's only a single entrance there. Like I've said, this place only has a single room, really. Okay, who takes the first watch?
I'll take the first watch.
Okay, so you burn the candle. Take the first watch. The rest of you, you have 2 normal beds and 1 halfling bed to use.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, it sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
That's metaphorically burn the candle. Once we got the stuff, we want to keep that candle lit for as little time as possible.
Yeah.
So.
Of course.
Yeah.
So each of you taking the watch after, including Lucas, it was probably the hardest watch in your life, because you were sitting there in complete darkness. You only heard your comrades, snoring or quietly breathing in their sleep. But there was this feel of of being surrounded by this gloom, and that gloom you never knew if suddenly there wouldn't appear a pair of beady red eyes, and you were almost sure that at some point you would feel this horrible stench, because the Skaven, they have this animal musky stench emanating from their bodies, and perhaps you would hear the squeak in your ears, the horrible squeaking, chittering, and maybe even feel the whiskers on your face. Yeah, the whiskers are horrible. But nothing happened during the night. Fortunately, nothing happened. You, I don't know who took the last watch. Let's say it was whoever is going to tell me that.
Sure, I'll take it.
Alright, so Vincent took the last watch. Mm, and I presume that you probably would want to get up before dawn, like slightly before dawn, or not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm going to um, wake everybody up, make sure they get up
You
at
wake
the same
everybody
time.
up, well, not without any problems, because you are still, all of you, you are still very, very tired.
Mm.
The last good sleep was, the last good sleep that you had was during the day right before the siege, right before the assault at Dauber's house. Yeah, you remember that time with fondness. I mean, there were zombies on the streets and there was plague, but there were also warm beds, good food. You know, you did not have to hide like rats. Haha, no pun intended. Yeah, these were good times. And you are still very like cranky. You know, you're aching here and there. Your head slightly ache from all the exhaustion and stress. But of course, you're getting up with Vincent's help, Sato or not. All right. The outside, you can see between cracks in the crates and the windows that it's still gloomy. Although it will probably get bright within an hour or maybe an hour and a half. So this is it. Your first day in Talabheim. The resistance needs you. La Resistance. Tell me about your plans.
I think we need to start finding survivors. Since we're in Guild's Row, I'm gonna look for any kind of like weapons guilds or smithing guilds or something where we might be able to like Fletchers or
people who can. Yeah. People who can build weapons and maintain weapons.
More so use them, because if they know how to build them, I imagine they're probably pretty good with using them. So they can, and then start establishing a rapport with them and kind of gauge them on if they would be willing to stir up some shenanigans. And then,
Let's search the house too. Constantly search everything else.
Like,
sure.
Oh, complete the search of the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Should we run or?
you haven't found anything, of particular note in that house.
Okay.
It was almost all taken by its previous inhabitants. Nothing really left here. So, after that, you quietly make your way outside. Very quietly. Very carefully. I need to roll. Alright. Of course, you are traveling together. Hunched silhouettes, darting from building to building. Like I said,
I just wanted to leave some stuff behind at that house, like backpack, bedroll, blanket, that type of stuff. I'm not going to be carrying that because I'm still overweight if I do.
Okay, so guys, we'll take a 2 to 3 minutes break. We'll come back. Then it's going to be rolling time.
Okay.
And then we'll see how well did you manage to, doing that whole recruiting stuff. Because, there's a rather interesting mechanic in Terran Talabheim when it comes to recruitment. I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
All right.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the restroom real quick.
Yep. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back.
Just us so far, I think.
Alright. So did you want male or...
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not in any real rush. Because I think I got to get some more skills first anyway.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a situation where I can actually get my last couple skills. Like how to use cavalry weapons. That's going to be a little bit.
Yeah, so I think now's the perfect time to kind of scavenge for valuables too. While we're, you know what I mean? Like while we're scavenging, you find something valuable, take it. The city's been sieged, and the owners aren't going to come looking for it anytime soon.
Yeah. Though I don't really have a lot of room to start collecting things.
Well, no, like we could stash it throughout the city. You know what I mean? And come back towards right before we leave and just gather everything up. And since we're going to be talking to thieves, I'm assuming at some point, maybe we can get them in on it. Because that manor district's there for the taking, pretty much. If you're smart about scavenging, you know.
So is anybody watching The Punisher?
It's the only Marvel show I'm considering watching.
Is it a show or movie?
Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, to understand what's going on, you'd have to probably watch both seasons of Daredevil first.
I saw the first couple episodes, and I can't do it. But the Punisher's a totally different type of superhero. He's just a dude that's highly trained and pissed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, except for that so here's the problem. So much of what's going on in the season so far, I'm slightly over halfway through, plays on stuff that occurred in season 2 of Daredevil, which doesn't really make sense unless you've also watched season 1 of Daredevil. So
I had to watch. Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
you could get away with all the rest of without watching any of the rest of the Marvel stuff, but
yeah, I'm not a fan of like Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, the Defenders. Like I can't. It's terribly.
Well, Iron Fist wasn't great, but the rest of them I thought were all real good.
Like it's just like they have these movies that are clearly so high budget and they put so much into it, And when you're going to go and make a TV show that's in the same universe, it feels like they just didn't have the budget. You know what I mean?
No,
Like for the fight scenes and everything. And
I don't think that's. I don't feel that way because.
Hey guys.
Hey.
I'm back.
Brian?
So,
Oh, okay.
everybody back?
Yeah, by the way, I really like Marvel TV series. I actually really like Iron Fist because I just like Iron Fist as a character. But yeah, his series was probably the weakest, unfortunately.
Are you watching the? Have you started the Punisher yet?
Yeah, I've watched the first episode today.
Okay.
Punisher is my favorite anti-hero, Marvel anti-hero. So I have really high hopes, and first episode did not disappointed me.
Yeah, it's a fast start, then it slows down a little, but then it picks back up.
Yeah.
I'm on it. I finished episode 7 last night, so.
I think I'm going to try just watching that and Googling anything I need to fill myself in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Has-
Punisher was the best thing probably about Daredevil season 2.
Yeah, he refuses to watch the rest of them.
Yeah.
He thinks
has
he's
it-
too good because they don't have big budget movies.
Yeah,
Or
I've
something,
heard that.
I don't know.
I've heard that. For a TV series, they still have a rather high budget, and besides, remember that this TV series, they don't concentrate about the big heroes. They concentrate about the small heroes. Neighborhood heroes. And yeah, I know that Spider-Man is also a neighborhood hero, but who cares, right? I don't know. I really like those TV series mainly because they are dark, gritty. They have like sex in them, swearing in them, blood in them. I know it's weird, but I generally like these things in my movies and TV series. For me, the Marvel MCU, like the movies, they're just too clean and too nice. That's why I like DC a lot. I'm one of those people who likes the DC movies, Snyder's movies, so to speak.
Yeah, I much prefer DC movies,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen Justice League yet, so I don't have an opinion on it yet.
I'm extremely tired with all that, funny Tony Stark, Iron Man.
Yeah, it's too
bromance,
bantery.
Yeah, bromance with the Hulk and Black Widow joking with the Arrow guy. It's just it's boring. I want to see some brutal action.
It's not comic book related, but has anybody seen Taboo?
No, but I've heard about it. Oh, yeah.
My wife started watching it, and I was supposed to watch it with her, but she's like way ahead of me now.
Tom Hardy, right?
I think so. I haven't
Yeah.
even seen an episode,
Yeah,
but
it's
Yeah, no, it was awesome, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I would think it's up your alley, Brian. That's kind of your time periods that I think you would enjoy.
yeah,
When is
19th century London, I think.
Yeah, it's like 18. It's like I think it's after the Napoleonic War or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like they talk about the slave trade and voodoo.
West India Company, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it has Tom Hardy, so it's immediately awesome because Tom Hardy makes anything that he's in, completely awesome. I love the man. As an actor, of course.
Oh, okay. Not long conversations over the phone.
No, but if I could, I would have long conversations with him.
Yeah.
I think he's honestly one of the best actors right now. And of course, the Bane.
Yeah. And he was a fighter pilot.
Yeah,
During
in
Dunkirk?
Dunkirk. Yeah.
Did you see?
He was really good in The Revenant.
He was in that movie about the England's most dangerous prisoner or whatever his name was.
Bronson. Yeah.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was good.
Oh, that was him.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that one.
Yeah. So I need to watch it, and Brian, I think it's up your alley too. I would imagine
Netflix?
it is. It's on Hulu. It's either on Hulu or Amazon Prime.
Okay.
I have both. I'm not sure which one Dino's watching it on, but
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, it was broadcast on FX, I think.
in here I think it was in HBO.
Hmm.
In Poland, I mean. So, do you guys want to do anything particular other than recruit people for your resistance movement?
We're
Because
searching, aren't we?
yeah, I mean, of course, there will be also searching and stuff, but essentially it looks like that. It will take a few more days. Like we'll fast skip a week.
Oh, a whole week. Okay.
Yeah, and during that week, you either succeed in recruiting enough people, or you will not succeed. I of course take into account, searching of the houses. However, you will also discover that many of the houses here are in fact still occupied.
Yeah, I think searching for loot, well, in my view, is going to be a very minor priority. Like I won't probably actively be doing that unless it's in passing, but I'm going to be mostly concerned on the objective.
Yeah.
I was thinking, and Sally, maybe you will want to do this too. That you and I try to look for, since I have Streetwise and get +10 charm and gossip with criminal elements, that we try to see if we can find any like Thieves Guild type people to recruit.
I kind of want to capitalize on some sort of criminal network while we're doing this. So we have something going forward after we liberate Talabheim, assuming we survive.
All right, but I mean, in the current situation, you would have to devote almost all your time to do that, and not only it's incredibly hard in the current situation because you saw the first patrols, by the way, of Skaven during that single week. Yeah, it's not only very dangerous. It's also you won't be able to help them. You won't be able to help your party because yeah, well.
Well, I'm saying if we come across any thieves, that's one of the things I want to talk about with them. You know what I mean?
Oh,
he's talking about not just recruiting them. He's also Sally. You're also talking about recruiting them as resistance fighters, right? Like that's objective 1, and then objective 2 would be
making contacts for the future.
Yeah, making money, and because like we can't possibly loot all of the manor houses, so I just want people to help stockpile valuables, and they can take a share or something. You know what I mean?
Why don't we? How about you two go out and start that angle, and Lucas, do you want to come with me to try to find some of the more respected practitioners of Talabheim, such as guildsmen and?
We can do that. I also want to do like recon while.
Yeah.
I think we can do it simultaneously, like as a group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like the ultimate goal is we need resistant fighters.
Yeah.
So like if we find thieves, I'll pitch that angle as well. But I'm not like going out of my way looking for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. My only reason for suggesting it was because I get a bonus to fellowship essentially. to talk to thieves. That's the only reason I suggested it. Not so much because I wanted to plan for the future. I also thought that being thieves and being used to sort of working in the shadows, that might be an angle that would be helpful to us for surveillance and kill teams, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be like they've probably been doing the same thing that we are going to ask them to do,
right?
For the rest, for as long as they've been living. So
we will appeal to their patriotism.
Yeah, or their pocketbook.
Yeah,
whatever works. All right. So you went outside, and you've begun the process of recruitment. Soon you found out that, of course, the Skaven are in fact still in the city. There were patrols you've encountered them. None of the patrols actually managed to spot you, although there were a few close calls. Usual patrol consisted of like 3 to 5. You guess normal, if such a term could be applied to the Skaven. Normal ratmen, armed with either crooked swords or primitive rusty spears, and a single Skaven with a single or with 1 or 2 pistols.
Gotta get him first. I'm just taking mental notes in my head.
Yeah.
Recon is continuous.
Also, the Skaven with the pistols was always at the back of the patrol.
Do we notice them? Because you said this is over the course of a whole week.
Yeah.
Do we notice any kind of regularity in time and or regularity in location of the patrols?
No.
Okay,
really.
so it's just entirely random.
Well, if you look at the guild row on the map, you see that there's a number 42, Amelia's Waxworks, and right next to it is like this big road, right, leading to Geldwold.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so this road was particularly patrolled, but other than that, the patrols were rather irregular. You also met other people in Guildrow. Of course, all were very afraid, all were, terrified even, dirty. Most of their they were left with almost no food in their houses, and I guess these were the people from whom you recruited your first guerrilla fighters. Or maybe not, we shall see in a few seconds. However, what you learned from them was that the Skaven are incredibly cruel overseers. Not only did they took almost the entire food from everyone, leaving people with barely enough to survive. They are also very, very harsh when it comes to punishment. For example, one woman told you with tears in her eyes that her husband and her son were killed in front of her eyes and devoured alive because they tried to hide a few loaves of bread under the floorboards. The Skaven left her alive only so that essentially she could see them die. And there were other, even worse stories. Whole houses being burned down with those strange fire-spewing contraptions, or mass executions with the use of firearms. Whole families walked in front of a wall and then just shot. You've also heard stories, although you're not sure if they're exactly true, if they're exactly real or not, that sometimes the Skaven take people and throw them to the beasts, to the great rat beasts. Fortunately, you haven't encountered any such beast here, but from what you understood, they are in Geldwold. They are especially, they can be found in Geldwold.
Well, we have Lucas, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. So, you still have your smithy as your base of operations, and of course, I would like to know if you are taking your supplies there, or did you leave them, outside the city?
I'm taking my supplies with me. As much I'm coming back.
Yeah, I think over the course of a week we'd have gone and brought as much back as we can.
All right. There was one good thing about the smithy, and you've found it next day. There was also a basement, and it was a rather deep basement.
Nice.
the blacksmith and his family probably stashed food there because you found some grain lying on the floor, but of course none were left. None of the sacks or barrels or crates of grain were left. Skaven took everything, or maybe it was the blacksmith. You don't know, and it doesn't really matter. So, walking cautiously through Guildrow, evading patrols, always returning to your base before it was dark. You've tried to recruit a few people. Please roll.
Yeah.
Now the roll is -10. It's a -10 convincing test.
Oof. Does each person roll?
If you want, so yes, but and this is how it works. If you fail, well, you fail. On a botch, there's a fight.
So wait, what test are we
It's a fellowship
doing this
test?
on?
Fellowship.
Can we do it with one person rolls and then everybody else throws in their bonus?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, that's because I got a terrible fellowship.
Yeah, me too. Sally.
What's your fellowship, Sally?
Just wait a second
Check.
because I need to check something. You guys speak, of course. I need to just check something really quick.
Mine's 38.
I know Sally. I would assume Sally is a rather charismatic.
Yeah, I have some
Halfling.
other bonuses I can get too.
So yeah, so I think he would be kind of the recruiter, and then we can.
Oh, by the way,
delegate authority.
this test is made with charm.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I don't
skill.
have the charm. I don't have the
so
charm
if you
skill.
don't have charm, you will test half of your fellowship.
Right.
I have charm,
Yeah, that sounds like it's all you, buddy.
and I have deal maker.
A deal maker
extra.
does not work here.
Oh, okay.
Deal maker works for business stuff, business related
All
stuff.
right.
So
I'll make you a deal. I'll bake you a pie after all this is over if you join up with us.
A pigeon pie.
Streetwise wouldn't help me.
what?
Streetwise,
No, not here.
Oh.
rolled charm, and I got everybody helping me with the bonus. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
So you get plus 30, but minus 10, because those people are afraid and they're not exactly, keen on dying.
So I
So
need
plus 20 total.
Yeah, you need to make 3 such tests for you to build the basics of your resistance cell.
So we really need this to count. Can anybody else contribute luck if need be? Because I only have 2 points of luck to use today.
I have 3 only, but I have that's my max
I
at this point.
will allow that.
Okay. So I'm rolling on 60. Here goes.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
You did it.
0-1. Great.
I got to do
Alright.
it 3 times?
Yeah. Roll second time.
Okay, I'm going to use luck there.
All right. So you're losing
1 luck
that.
point. God damn.
No.
We need to do all 3, right?
Yeah. And now is the first time.
But we
Oh,
have
well.
not botched.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
batched.
Use the luck for that third time.
Does anybody else want to contribute? I want to save a luck to save my life.
Yeah, I can give you a luck if you need one. You want another one?
Well, but I mean,
There we go.
Oh.
So 2 out of 3.
All right.
Yeah.
So, after a week of a very, let me just see here. Whoops. Sorry. Okay, here it is. After a week of carefully approaching enslaved Talabheimers, the resistance had enlisted some 11 souls from the guild row.
Do bodies come with those souls?
Of course.
Okay. This is Warhammer, so that is
Yeah.
a realistic question.
You've gathered a fair bunch of people from all walks of life. Some of them cut for this kind of work, others not so much, but still enthusiastic and willing enough to, join the resistance. Among those peoples, I'm going to read them now to you. At least, like I will try to do, to be fast, but I want you to understand what kind of people do you have at your disposal. Are Jirl Gladish. Jirl is a former spice merchant, now slave. He was living in the slums of the old market, but fortunately he managed to make his way south. The Skaven killed his brother's family for defiance. His nephew kicked the shin of a local claw leader. The only reason he survived was a combination of his being elsewhere at the time and the Ratman being unaware that he was related. Jirl wants vengeance, and he wants it very badly, but he is smart enough to wait for the opportunity to cause the most damage. Next, we have Silke Arendt. She is actually very useful to you because Silke is a knight of the Verdant Field, who only recently took her vows to defend Talabheim. She, from what you've gathered, she feels personally guilty for the city's fall. In her thoughts, she knows such thinking, of course, is ridiculous, but in her heart, she believes it. She, from the moment you've recruited her, she constantly agitates for bigger and more daring strikes against the Skaven, and backs this up by always volunteering for the most dangerous missions. So she's not only saying we should hit them hard, but we should hit them hard, and I'm going to be at the forefront. Next, you've managed to recruit one Honorius Kippenberg. Honorius. Oh, by the way, I want this to be very clear. Some of these people, it's not like you are taking these people to your house and you are keeping them there. Because as it turns out, Skaven do indeed allow people to live in their homes, most of them. So, for example, Silke stays with you, as is Jirl, but Honorius, who is a slave prized by the Skaven, because he's a both scholar and an engineer. He actually needs to return to his home, to his family. He can't, he can't be with you all the time, because if he would run away, the Skaven would kill his family. As it turns out, Honorius is tasked with he's basically a slave foreman for several of construction projects that the Skaven conduct in Talabheim. Although he's not yet telling you about any of them because, you've only just recruited him and you didn't have time to, properly question him. But from him, you've managed to find out that the Skaven are building something in Talabheim. There are 4 construction sites, but we'll come back to that later. Finally, the last 3. Jorn. Jorn is a criminal with a long list of crimes to his credit, not the least of which is multiple homicide. Jorn told you that he was actually in the Hallows awaiting execution when a Bulldog Sergeant released all the prisoners on his wing and told them a pardon was in the offing if they fought the Ratmen. This suited Jorn just fine, and he's been killing Skaven ever since. Jorn likes knives, sharp ones. Provoking him is not a wise idea, but if there is a dangerously well-placed Skaven skirmisher with one of those accursed long rifles that must be taken down quietly, Jorn's the man for the job.
Guns for show, knives for a pro.
Exactly. And also Jorn looks exactly like Vin Diesel. I'm not even kidding. Just imagine Riddick, because that's basically Riddick.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Finally, there's Karsta Scheid. Karsta was a baker's daughter and looking forward to continuing in her parents' footsteps when the Skaven invaded. They baked her father in his own oven. Karsta has managed to ingratiate herself with a large number of Skaven by being a submissive slave and skilled cook. Rare amongst resistance members, it was actually Karsta who contacted you after you've already recruited a bunch of other guerrilla fighters. And she passed a lot of information to you that she overheard. Because, of course, Ratmen are speaking in their strange, chittering language, but they sometimes also use very, very poor version of Reichspiel. The Ratmen deem her a model slave. She manages to keep a pleasant smile on her face by constantly imagining what will happen to all her customers the day the Resistance lets her lace a huge batch of bread and pastries with poison. And finally, Sally, that's something for you. Tobol Rounderbend. Tobol was a halfling lecturer at the Sea of Roses. Once a gentle, quiet little man, Tobol fought through much of the struggle for the God's Row. Witnessing the many acts of staggering courage that occurred there awoke something fierce within him. He is determined that the sacrifices he witnessed will not be in vain. Tobol is phenomenally stealthy and has swiftly learned the art of staying downwind of Skaven patrols to such an expert degree that he can unerringly follow one without any danger of being noticed. Basically, these are just some of the people in your cell. Right now you have, like I said, 11 folks. I just wanted to present you, those, 7, I believe? Or 6. I can count. 6. I just wanted to present you this 6 resistance fighters so that you know how, what can you expect from, what kind of people can you expect to recruit to your organization, so to speak.
Okay.
And among them, for example, Honorius and Karsta are, of course, they are living in their own homes, while Jorn, Tobol, Silke, and Yirl can either stay with you if you wish so, or they will stay somewhere within the guild role.
I think they should create their own independent team to start harassing and doing their own thing.
All right, but Yir would not do that. He wants revenge, but he's not the type of person to organize people. Silke can do this, yes. Although when she heard that, I don't know if you told them, but I assume that Vincent, you've told them that you were sent by the military.
Yeah.
So she defers to you in all things. She's not a noble woman. She told you that Knights of the Verdant Field are a Myrmidian order, and as such, they're not exactly comprised of noble people. There are nobles within the ranks of Knights of the Blazing Sun or Knights of the Verdant Field, but Myrmidians recruit people based on their skills, not their bloodline. For example, you've never heard of a woman knight. It's the first time that you found a woman knight. Although knight is also stretching it, she looks like a scout, like a Deepwood scout.
Yeah, I think if they're too rambunctious, we would want to kind of keep them tighter reins on them.
Yeah, Honorius, of course, is no kind of leader, and he has to be every day at one of the construction sites, overseeing the construction and the other slaves. By the way, he also told you that the Skaven are driving slaves to death, and that almost every day dozens of people are they're just being killed. Sometimes by the Skaven themselves if they work too slow, and sometimes because of the exhaustion. Also, the reason why there are no bodies anymore on the streets is is because of one simple fact: the Skaven eat them. They are devouring everything, essentially. Jorn is also not a leader. He's a killer. He even told you that you point me and I'll kill them all. Something like that. And yeah, I tried to do Vin Diesel, but I can't exactly do that. Yeah, so he said that, if you want someone dead, just tell me. No problem. Karsta is a young girl who's, she's a baker's daughter. She's she's not the type of organize your own kill team lady. And Tobo, while very actually very fierce and very brave, he's a halfling.
I'm not saying that you have to organize. I was going to just kind of have them have them be a team, and then kind of give them the general instructions for.
Let's just say, for the sake of plot, that right now you are all gathered in the basement of the blacksmith's home, where it's safe. You are standing around the table that you've managed to procure from one of the other houses, empty houses, and on the table is the map. All of your teammates are here, at least all of the named ones, because actually until next game I would like you guys to think about the other 5 teammates yourselves.
It's like make people up?
Yeah, make people up. Each one of you make 1, and one of you can make 2. What do you say? It's up to you.
I mean, so when you say makeup, are we like rolling stats, or are we just
no
stats,
no stats. These guys have no stats.
Okay.
Because you are the heroes of this story. They are very important, but think of them more like tools.
Okay. Sounds good. Although, can you do me a favor and about maybe 3 or 4 days before the next game, remind us on the Facebook group?
Of course, no problem.
Yeah, cool, thanks.
You can, of course, don't invent Karl Franz, who suddenly decided to help.
So they
the second
can't
coming
all
of
be...
Sigmar.
Yeah, but be creative.
Lupus,
I found this dwarf. He calls himself Gotrek.
Yeah. Oh, and there's Felix as well.
Yeah.
But of course you can be creative. It's almost 100% sure that I will, acknowledge whatever you think about. Just decide between each of you who wants to take care of 2 characters, because there are 5 left and there are only 4 of you. So but for now, let's just say that you are all in the basement. Honorius needs to leave in half an hour. He needs to get to his construction site. It's been a week and a half since you've recruited the team. They are all, of course, deferring to you, watching you expectantly. So, speak. Ask what you want. Do what you want. Send them on a mission.
I think we ought to give them the general, not the generals, but the general objectives of the resistance, such as marking the patrol routes. If they have an opportunity to harass or ambush smaller patrols and to
I think
collect...
they need to recruit more.
Remember one thing, that not all of them are fit for ambushing, fighting, and so on. You're not having a team of skilled killers. Only really Silke and Yorn are good at fighting.
Yeah.
Wait until I find B.A. Baracus and bring him back.
Oh yeah.
Most importantly is the collecting of information and having staged points where we can consolidate the information, because we need to send a report back. It's been a while.
So let's pick a time where we meet back here once or twice a week or something.
They don't necessarily need to meet back here, as long as they can leave reports in designated areas, perhaps in certain street corners or windowsills or something like that, where we can pick up the messages.
Oi, boss, says Tobo. Maybe I could make a trip to one of the other districts, find something, what's going on there, eh?
Well, you're
No?
quiet enough, so
Yeah, but just tell me which one do you want me to check out, eh?
Is this the halfling?
Yeah.
All right.
Actually,
There's-
the short man is right, says Jorn. He can take one district, I can take other. I fancy that each of us will need probably a few days to finish our recon sweep. Then we can report back to you. What do you say, boys?
Yeah, I think at first we start out close, so probably Manor District, Law District,
Gotcha, bro.
Talos.
I will take Manor District, says the halfling.
Where is this construction going on at?
Well, good sir, says Honorius, it seems that the Ratmen construct things. There are 4 construction sites. I'm working on one. One of them is on the
Speak, man.
I'm sorry, Northgate. One of them is Northgate. Yes, yes. One of them is in the Low District. And one of them is... Oh my god, wait a second. Where's this? Oh yeah, and one of them is in the Old Market. Well, it's hard for me to tell, because I'm working on the Old Market one. It's hard for me to tell what the Skaven are building there. At least not yet. But the last one which is placed in Dragon's Home. Now this one's rather interesting because the Ratmen have closed all the roads leading to Dragon's Home, and they're not letting anyone in. Actually, and he speaks quietly, with a slightly shaken voice, none of the slaves who went to the construction site in Dragon's Home ever returned.
Where's Dragon's Home?
Dragon's Home is over by where Daubler's was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see it. That's right outside the Law District.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The short man said that he'll check Manor District, says Jorn. I will go and have a look in the Low District.
All right, be wary of what's on the northwest edge of the Law District, since that's Dragon's Home.
I will do my best. However,
Also-
however, no promises. I'm not a suicide, kind of person, if you could say that.
Keep an
None
eye
of
out
us should be.
for a one-legged Tylian named Gennaro. He's one of us.
Has he been captured? Asks Honorius.
I think so.
I will check my my charges, so to speak. I will also try and make my way to other 2 construction sites, but I'm not going to Dragon's Home. No way.
And any word on where the Countess may have been taken?
Silke speaks, the woman. She's actually quite attractive. She's very young. She probably was kind of a country bumpkin before. She has freckles on her face, round cheeks. Actually, we don't know where the Countess is. Not after that accursed Skaven sorcerer presented her humiliation to Hall of Talabheim. My guess is the Grand Manor. Perhaps they are keeping her there, but we have no way to check that. Well, at least not yet. I can try and make my way there, but no promises. Oh, and also 2 very important things, which we've learned from Silke, actually. First of all, is that there are still 2 points of resistance in the city. The Temple of Myrmidia is still is under siege, but it's holding. The priests and mercenaries and warriors inside managed to defend against the attacks of the Ratmen.
And that's in God's Row.
Yeah, and the Skaven had no choice but to begin the siege. They are watching the temple almost every day. Silke was in the temple, and she was able to sneak her way out. And the second place is the wait, let me see where this.
So the Temple of Meridia is right by the main gate. Do they hold the main gate? Do we hold the main gate?
The main gate to where?
Moore's Road.
Moore's Road?
Yeah,
No,
because
no,
isn't
no.
the Temple of Meridia right
No,
there?
the Temple of Meridia has been sealed by the defenders.
Oh,
And
so they don't have the surrounding area.
the Skaven have surrounded it completely, but they weren't able to get in. But at the same time, the defenders are not able to stage a counterattack of any significant, proportions. Oh, and second thing, in Low District, the Stone House, which is Dwarven Embassy, also managed to remain, Skaven-free zone. The dwarves simply bolted up, and since they are very, they have long tradition of fighting Skaven, they were able to defend their embassy from the Ratmen.
What
Can we get
district
word
is
of that?
It's number 10. It's in the...
Oh, okay, in the corner near the... It's sort of close to the Countess's palace.
Yeah, to the Grand
grounds.
Manor.
I think our friend might be there.
Yeah.
Yep, I think so too.
Oh, and by the way, when you've... I presume that you've asked, the resistance fighters that you've recruited said that there are no more zombies on the streets.
Okay.
I think those two things, not the zombie things, the two resistance groups need to go in the report that we send back next.
Definitely. I feel like the temple by the main gate could be pretty strategic if General Hoffner wants to do a counterattack, because it doesn't look like it looks like they could probably break through and take the gate if they hit it from both sides.
Suka once again interrupts. There won't be any counterattack unless the Empire army stationed outside will support us. We simply have not enough men to stage a counterattack on the Grand Bastion, and it is in the hands of Skaven. It has been confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an army outside already?
Well, we don't know, says... actually, we don't know, says Jiru, the hot-headed resistance fighter. There are talks. Some people say that they saw smokestacks from over the crater. Others said that they even heard gunfire and artillery fire. But others say that, no, the Empire hasn't sent reinforcements yet, and maybe not ever, he adds grimly.
Well, so that's another question. Is there any other way other than walking straight up the Wizard's Way? Is there like a secret path up to
the one we took.
the gate?
No.
Well, yeah, not underneath.
There's only a single
mean,
entrance to Talabheim, and it's through the Wizard's Way, says...
Right, well, I understand... No, I understand that, but I'm saying, is there a less obvious way than just walking straight up the Wizard's Way to get to the main gate to the Wizard's Way?
Well, if you would be very skilled, sir, says the knight, the young knight of the Verdant Field, you could probably try to scale the Talbaston walls to the north or to the south, and then
it just so happens.
And then move over the top of the crater wall to the bastion. But the thing is that the rats probably have at least, I don't know, 100, maybe 200 warriors up there. And it won't be the standard brown furred runs. It will be those damned black-furred bastards. I saw one of them take on 3 knights at once and butchering every single one of them.
Do we have access to explosives?
Do you?
I don't know.
Remember?
Does anybody?
Well, there's the dynamite.
Exactly.
And then there's also
not dynamite, gunpowder in the southern quarry.
Yeah,
And
okay.
you've heard about it when
We need to get that.
Talabheim was still in humanity's hands. Well, in the Empire's hands, because there are no.
Where's the quarry again?
You can check
forgot.
South,
you
right?
can check the second map, the top map, and you see that there's the South Quarry, right to the south of Talabheim.
to the south. Oh, so it's actually outside Talabheim?
No, it's right next to the crater wall.
Oh, okay, I see it. The
Oh,
south.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I
so
guess
that
that's where
should
we
not-
should have gone when the guy asked us where we wanted to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Are-
I guess. So just spitballing that idea for 1 second. My thought would be to have somebody who knows how to climb, which is I am one of those people.
I can't
To
do it.
start trying to figure out a way to get there and over time slowly climb up there and pack it with enough gunpowder to blow it, should that be necessary.
But
Is the gate a wooden gate?
basically,
Or is it
the resistance fighters look at you like you are mad.
Well, I'm.
Silka says.
I've seen it before.
Wait.
I just don't remember.
Let me get this straight. You want to get to the quarry, get the gunpowder on top, and blow the gate.
Well, should it come to that? Yeah.
What part of 200 Skaven warriors did you not understood?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is a way to climb up there and sneakily do.
Jorn says it is almost impossible what you are offering. I mean, technically it is, but it's a suicide mission.
Well, I'm just thinking of options because if one of our tasks is to open the gate.
Honorius interrupts. Excuse me. You see that the top of the crater, not only is it incredibly dangerous to walk the top of the crater because of the surface, there are towers all along the crater, which are surely in Skaven's hands. Skaven hands. From what I understand, it would probably have to be some kind of suicide mission, like you strapping the barrow to your back, and then just running towards the gatehouse. But I'm not sure that even that would work.
Do the Skaven have slaves or is there any movement up and down to the gatehouse, whether by slaves or by supplies or is it just Skaven entirely up there?
Kalsta says, the young baker girl. Actually, some slaves do deliver food there. Not me personally, but I know a couple of people. Yes.
Maybe we can kind of leverage that if one of us with food in quotes. That might be an option. It's something to explore later, but we don't have any dynamite now, so that.
Not dynamite, black powder.
Yeah, black powder.
Yes, but the problem is, says Karsta, that not many of the slaves returned. I guess that some of them were the food, literally. If you catch my drift. Well, this is still some idea, and some idea is better than no idea, says Jorn.
I want to take somebody who's a good kind of tracker. I know the halfling is going off to do recon on his own, but I would like to take somebody and try to put some sense into the patrols so that we can set some traps in places where the patrols go, but maybe humans don't and whatnot.
Yeah, that's certainly something that everybody should be able to do, whether they're a fighter or not, is to start marking patrol routes. And if you can teach them just a limited amount of secret signs in order so they can help plot the patrol routes, because that's something that.
Yeah, just like simple code and shit.
Yes, but you don't have to yell.
Yeah. Well, if you'll be able, with very limited time, you'll be able to basically just teach them a single sign, perhaps.
Oh yeah, like 1 notch equals 10 or less. 2 notches equals 20 or less. Some simple code that just looks like scratches on a wall to the everyday eye, and can get some, start marking the routes, and maybe even letting some of the non-participants know what the marks mean, or at least the flags mean, in order to allow them to move more freely or to mark patrols. Because that's kind of a that's something anybody can do. They don't actually have to be an active part of the resistance.
Well, the resistance fighters look at each other, not sure if they will be able to learn even a single sign, but they all nod.
Well, I think at this point, really, all we need to do is teach them the code. Doesn't need to be
like
sign.
3 or 4 different signs.
All right.
This because it's two colored flags and a number of notches for tens, right?
All right. So
yeah.
if you want to do this, because like I said, Tobo agreed to scout the Manor District. Yorn agreed to scout the Low District. Honorius will look for Gennaro in the Old Market construction site, and he will also try to, check the other sites. Karsta agreed to check the Merchant District. When I'm saying check, it means that they will, of course, mark the patrol routes. Scout the best possible ambush sites, and learn other things, things that you want them to learn. However, you need to tell me exactly what things do you want to what things do you want of them, to discover, and every single thing will be will increase the difficulty of the roll. I'll be rolling, and depending on how well I will roll, they will learn all the things, none of the things, or perhaps even get killed.
Okay, so I think for most of them, really, that's all we need them to learn.
All right.
Yeah, we're not staging an attack yet or anything. We're just learning.
Because these things, it will take each of them. It will take few days.
Yeah, I think the halfling going to the Manor District should probably also keep his ear to the ground about the Countess.
All right. And any other things. Think about anything that you want them to learn, and then tell me. Because after that, there will be rolling. There will be a few days, going in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the construction site, because our primary objective is not to have a resistance. It's to find out what they're planning to do.
All right.
That's number one objective.
So let's start with Honorius. What do you want Honorius to do?
Which one is he? He's
the scholar, the very prized slave.
The engineer, right?
Yeah, the scapegoat.
He's the one who's going to the construction site. So I thought we wanted him to try to figure out what they're constructing, and B, find Gennaro, right?
Yeah, I think that's all he needs to do. I don't think we need to have him dealing with routes or anything.
All right, so those two things are for Honorius. Now, Silke, the Knight of the Verdant Field.
She is going to scout for information on the Countess. Isn't she in the Countess area? The Mana District area?
Well, she can be in any area. She escaped
that's right.
She escaped the temple of Myrmidia.
No, I think we just put her on routes, and general size.
Where? Yeah. Where? You can't say that all routes. Talabheim is a huge city.
Yeah. Where is her? Because she's not the one that's in the bakery. She's
the knight.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's try not to expand too far from Guild Row yet. So I would probably leave her in Guild Row.
What about the Talos? Because we might be able. Is the Deadeye's safe house worth anything to us? Because that's something that could be an objective if we want to start working patrols that way.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
that I
the
wanna
only
send
problem
him
with that is that he
Talos.
booby-trapped the shit out of it.
Yeah, and I also don't know that I want to send a knight to the Talos.
Not to
I
mention you.
think we're better off going to the Dwarven Embassy, the Stone House, to find Deadeye.
Send her to the Dwarven Embassy.
No. Ignore. They're getting sidetracked. I say we keep her probably in Guild Row, doing patrols there.
All right. So she'll map patrols and she'll map the best possible ambush routes. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's for her. Jiru Gladish, the man with the vengeance.
Let's just keep him with us for now.
Remember that he was a merchant. He wasn't a fighter. He was a spice merchant before the war. Of course,
Right.
he's very gang-ho. He wants to, I'll kill them all for my brother, for my family, but he's just a merchant.
We could put him on routes somewhere also.
What about the Geltwald? Because we don't have anybody examining there.
Didn't they say something weird was happening in the Geltwald?
Where the monsters are, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we leave Geltwald alone for the moment.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's where
Jill, of
people-
course, volunteers. He says that I can check the Geltwald.
We can also focus on an area. We can have multiple people in the same area.
Multiple people in the same area doing the same things will decrease the difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
So if we don't have a particular drive for somebody, why don't we have them assist somebody else
Okay.
instead of
You want him to assist
spread
the
and choose
halfling
thin?
or
It's
assist
just spreading
the.
everybody thin.
Yeah, let's maybe choose two major objectives and
Sure.
push for those.
Like pair a fighter with somebody that doesn't fight, let they cover them.
So maybe
Remember that you still have 5 other people
yeah.
to distribute. Of course, you will tell me on our next game who these people support, because right now I'm not going to roll. We are almost finishing our game today, so I just want to know. I just want you to tell me about those 6 guys and gals, and at the beginning of our next session, you will assign the other 5, and I will roll. You will be able to spend your luck points for that roll, and according to the rolls, you will find something. You won't find anything. We'll see. So,
okay.
Eero. What about Eero?
Why don't we send him with to keep doing the guild to assist in the guild row?
All right, with Silka, right?
Yeah.
All right, Yorn. What about Yorn, the knife lover?
Maybe have him and the halfling together.
No, he's going to stand out like a sore thumb. I mean,
Yeah,
he's the one I think.
I think gonna be fine actually, because he's really good at not being detected.
I think I almost feel like he should stick with us so we can keep him from doing something stupid.
Yeah, we might need muscle depending on who we come across. Like, say if we find, remember the guy we found in the Talos that was the worshiper of Cain?
Do we think he can start collecting some Skaven weapons? That sounds like something he might be able to.
Yeah, he says that no problem. He'll be able to gather spears, swords. He already told you that he's not going to pick any of the firearms.
Yeah, well, I don't think they necessarily need to be Skaven weapons. Just any weapons that we can arm resistance people with.
Well, this is more to so when we start.
Actually, that's a good idea, because aside from Silke, Yorn, and Tobal, none of those people is armed, because the Skaven forbid anyone to have any weapon on the streets.
So send Yorn for weapons then, just to go on weapons runs, so that when we do start staging attacks, we have something to do it with.
So that's he agrees. Of course, he would much more prefer to kill Skaven, but he agrees. And he
this
says
is going to make it easier for him to kill Skaven. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
well, he presents.
be ready,
you know,
willing, and
his-
able. If he gets caught with the weapons, he'll
he,
he'll defend them.
he
You know.
presents his 2 sharp knives and says that he already has weapons. But anyway, he tells you alright, and that he'll gather weapons from Guildrow, because in Guildrow, were the most smithies, weapon like workshops and so on. So he will operate here. Alright, so that's Yorn. What about Karsta, the baker girl?
She should, because she has kind of a job, so to speak, she should just keep her ears open for anything she hears in her shop, and otherwise try to act as normal day to day as possible.
For anything particular. Now think closely, because Karsta may hear something specific, but I want you to tell me what do you want her to hear, so to speak. What do you want her to hear about?
I mean, I think any kind of high value captured people, so that would be like the Countess, that kind of stuff, as well as probably if she can get any idea of what they're building.
Yeah, I think those 2 things. Just keep it at that. News on the Countess and news on the construction, or why they're here, pretty much.
All right.
Also, she doesn't know the Skaven language, but we have a trick for that. Do we want to?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she could keep
You
it in her pocket and hear everything they're
you
saying.
You still have the amulets, of course, each of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So I wanna take the amulet off around my neck, and in private, because I don't want this word to get out just between her or us and her, not the rest of the group. That what it does, and I want to let her wear it in secret and tell her what it is and how it works and what it's going to feel like, and not to be overwhelmed.
She listens to you wide-eyed and ashen-faced, mumbles something about witchery and that Sigmar forbids it, but of course takes the amulet after a moment's hesitation, asks you 3 times if it will not curse her.
Whose idea was that? Because I think that's going to be important for XP. It was either Jason or Lucas, right?
Wasn't mine.
Yeah, I think it was Vincent's.
Yeah.
And with shaking hands, she ties the amulet around her neck.
Do we want it around her neck, or do we want it somewhere that is less obvious to be seen?
She has. Remember, it's winter. She has winter clothing with high colors.
We should give one to the foreman too.
I'm
He's
going
gonna hear all
to.
kinds of shit.
I want to assure her that it has only brought us fortune and favor, and not to worry about any kind of curse. As a devout follower of Sigmar.
She looks at you suspiciously, not exactly believing a word that you're saying, but nods.
I don't know what fortune he's talking about.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the jury's still out on whether or not those items are cursed or not.
Hey, we're still here.
All right. So Karsta will listen to what you want her to listen.
Should we give the foreman an amulet too?
I actually think that's a good idea.
Because he's going to hear all kinds of top level shit.
Well, we can ask him if he's exposed to that type of thing before offering it.
No, good sir. I never had anything magical in my possession, sir.
Okay.
He clearly looks very afraid.
They'll find him out. I'll make him any more nervous than he is, I guess.
Yeah. So you're keeping the amulet.
He's gonna be. Yeah, I don't know if. Do they document what they create on papers? I'm asking the engineer.
No, sir, no. So far, it's only being, many of the slaves were sent to Taugrunhar forest to gather wood and then bring it back. And so far, we are chopping the wood. I mean, slaves are chopping the wood. I mean, my charges are chopping the wood and smoothing it and whatnot. But so far, we don't know what it's for.
Would you be able to scribe down what you're creating every meeting? Take some moments of time to try to.
I won't be able to do that on site, sir.
Not on site. Not on site. From memory here during our meeting.
Yes, I think I should be able to do that. Yes.
Because that would be helpful to the folks back at Dunkerwood.
Of course, sir. So remind me, Jason, you gave Karsta your amulet, right?
Yes.
All right. So finally, there's Tobo, the halfling.
I would have won that back.
She tells you that as soon as this is over, she gives you this thing back, and she'll probably spend a month in the temple praying for her soul.
Yes.
So Tobo the halfling, he's stealthy, he's fierce and brave.
Yeah, he was going to scout the Manor District.
Yes, but scout for what?
Primarily, I think, again, for intel on the Countess.
All right.
But as well as, I'm less worried in the Manor District about routes, but more worried about numbers. So I think Countess intel
Garrison.
and kind of troop numbers of Skaven.
Or if there's any manors that are still holding out.
Yeah, that too.
Silke, as you told that Silke looks at you skeptically and tells you that Talabheim's manors were not designed as most imperial manors, i.e. for defense. They were designed to look good, because Talabheim lies within a crater.
Do we want him to scout out the Necromancer's old manor as well?
I don't think so at this point, especially if we're not seeing any zombies. I think we can safely assume that they've probably killed her already anyway. I think our characters would safely assume that. So I think, again, I think we stick him on intel on the Countess and troop numbers in the Manor District.
Now, the Countess was working with the Skaven.
Well,
the Countess, the Necromancer.
The Necromancer, yeah, but they'd likely offer the first chance they could get. I think we've seen that. What we've seen with them, stabbing each other in the back and stuff like that. They're not going. In game, I don't think our characters would think, especially if there's no more zombies. She's not being used anymore. She is therefore of no more use to them, which means they probably killed her.
I'm also speculating if she was teamed up with the losing plague clan side. That might be the other reason why she's quieted down a little.
She wasn't, and you know that.
Oh, okay. We know which one she was teamed up with. Okay.
Yeah, because remember what Baumer told you. That her
master. Well, no, I remember he told us something. I just don't remember which one it was.
Baumer told you that her master was the Skaven sorcerer. Who,
okay.
The same that you saw on that weird sky screen, so to speak.
Right. Okay.
And that his rival, one Nelridge the Suppurator, was the plague, the leader of the plague faction.
Okay, so I just misremembered. Okay, yeah. Thanks.
No problem. All right, so we have you've given your guys you've given your guys tasks. Each of them will take few days to complete them. Of course, you've also tasked your other resistance members with stuff. but we'll find out about that on our next session when you create them. Now, my question is, who takes 2 resistance fighters to create? Or do you want me to do that? I can make
Why
it.
don't you? Why don't you create one too?
All right, I'll create one. Each one of you will create one.
I guess in those 3 days' time, do we want to maybe send 2 people with the first message to Dunkerwood, and then maybe 2 people to the quarry to pick up gunpowder?
I assume you are speaking about the 2 people from the,
No, us.
From the you. All right, sorry.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
2 of us.
I don't know that we can trust yet anybody else to send the message. I think I think the party needs to do the message
Yeah.
sending.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the, if nobody else thinks that the gunpowder is worth having. I mean, I just figured because that was one of our many subplots.
I think the gunpowder is definitely worth having, because I think if we're going to be, especially if we're marking out troop movements and things like that, clearly we're intending to cause problems, and gunpowder will make that much easier.
Okay. All right.
However we use it. Yeah.
All right.
And we have an engineer, so.
Yeah.
And a baker.
That as well.
And a candlestick maker.
Black powder bread, awesome. All right. So you have a clear plan of action. Good job. That's it for today. Everyone gets 50 points for today's game. Everyone gets 10 points except Jason. You get 5. Now, why are you getting 5 points? Can you tell me?
I didn't.
You're a Morite with the. You know what you have, and you should be first to make sure that the Necromancer is dead.
Okay.
And you haven't, assigned anyone to check on her.
Well, I discussed it.
Yeah, to be fair, he tried and I vetoed him.
Well, yes. Okay.
I'm not saying he couldn't have fought harder, but
yeah, actually, wait.
Try.
Did you discuss it, Jason? Because if you did, then I don't want
Yeah.
to swindle you.
He did. He wanted the halfling to go.
Okay, sorry. So in that case, 10 points. But just so you know, your character would probably want to make sure that she's out of the equation.
Yeah, and I do so.
Yeah, but okay, sure. Well, maybe that's what your support character will be for.
Maybe I'll do that on my own.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't know what I'm planning.
Exactly. All right. So everyone gets 10 points, including Jason. Now, the homeland points, so to speak. Brian, Tylea, or the Moot, or something like that.
I'm not sure I said anything specific to Talia.
All right. Yeah, I don't think that there was anything today, really. Andrew, Talabheim land?
Yeah, not much other than the stuff about finding the the windowless rooms and whatnot was commented on as you're a true Talabheim lander from the soldier when it was commenting, for hiding so that we weren't showing off any light.
That's
pollution
actually,
at night.
Yeah, that's actually a very good argument. 5 points for you. Jason, Wissenland?
I tried to kind of curse the weather as we started to get on the road.
Yeah, okay, that was it. 5 points. Sean, you said something about being Wissenland.
Yeah,
right?
I just said we're sons of Wissenland. We don't sing.
All right, 5 points. Very good.
Yeah, I like that one. That was a good one.
So, religion. Brian.
Run
out Esmeralda.
I don't think I did anything with religion either.
All right.
There was mostly like planning. I didn't do a whole lot of roleplay really today.
Yeah, well, next time,
Yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah, nothing really religious at this point.
Jason?
I made the comment about how Dead Cities can create other things other than just the invaders.
Yeah, that was good. 5 points. Sean?
That also kind of goes back to Solend a bit, because Solend is actually a ghost. There's lots of ghosts and stuff now.
All right, so even 10 points for you. Sean?
I'm trying to think. I don't recall if I dropped. I remember saying hammer time one time.
You said something about Sigmar, because you have the hammer, the dwarven hammer, right?
Yeah, that was
yeah, and you said something about Sigmar. It was minor, but I'll give you 5 points for that.
Okay, yeah. I think generally speaking, I say something about Sigmar just kind of off the cuff once a game.
All right. Well, Brian, what about your star sign?
Ria's Cauldron. I was checking up on Genera, like everyone I came across, I wanted them to hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually you did. 10 points. Andrew?
Bum at the Fool, which is sensible, intuitive, and lucky. I think I was trying to approach the planning from a very pragmatic, sensible manner.
Yep, I also think that, and that's why you're getting 10 points. Because that was, that was very good planning on your part. Both when you were traveling and when you arrived.
Oh, yeah. I was... Yeah,
when you've gathered the resistance.
Yeah,
Jason?
Yeah. Gungren's Baldric, Militant, Profession of Arms.
10 points. Contact with the general. And, that was very good. Sean?
I don't think I really had a chance to be cheap because there was no money, or it didn't even occur to me, as there was no sort of transactional behavior that I recall.
Doom, Brian.
The Blind Maiden shall weigh thy soul. Nothing in particular.
All right, Andrew?
Yeah, the sword shall bring no justice, only suffering. At this point, I don't think it's really come into play today.
Right.
I think next session we might have some use, but.
All right, Jason.
The tiniest of Tal's children. When the only thing it's kind of a stretch. When we entered Guild Row, I tried to dig in the dirt and inspect the ground, just kind of as a foreshadowing of what may come.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that was a little bit, too little. But it was nice. It was nice, but just a bit too little. Sean?
The hourglass shatters before the last grain falls. I didn't feel I did anything even remotely related to that.
Yeah. Brian, I'm not going to give you any points today for Halfling.
I did say something about the fried and baked foods. He said no fried and baked foods.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't like the idea of not
being able to cook.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
I was just like shaking my head at him like, you crazy?
Absolutely.
How am I supposed to live?
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. 5 points for you. Very good. That's why I like when my players, think that I'm wrong and I should give them points.
Mm.
That was good. By the way, very important thing for your next 5 guys. The food is running out.
Right.
So you will need to gather food. Also, remember that Yero is with you. Wait a second. Yero, Silke, and Yorn are with you. Oh, and Tobol.
Do we not task them out?
No, he means staying.
They are staying with you, which means that they also need food.
Oh, okay. Maybe when we drop off the message, whoever drops off the message can bring more food or something.
You remember what the general told you. No more food from Dunkerud. They all need it there. So you have to think about something.
You know what? There's journey through the woods to get there, right? Why don't I be one of the people that goes, and I can go hunting, and maybe somebody else who would be good at hunting can go, and we can try to get something to bring back.
Yeah. How about the two of us will, Lucas and I will go to drop off the message. If Leopold and Sally, do you want to go try to grab some gunpowder?
Sounds great.
Remember that there are also villages next to Talabheim. They might have food, and you may even, try and recruit someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that. I think we're all going to have to go get the gunpowder. That's going to be kind of a heavy-duty mission, I think.
You will almost definitely need a cart for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I can't do.
We might be able to pick up, or maybe we could at least grab some horses and then from Dunkerwood and then send them back or something.
So you guys go deliver the message and hunt to get food, and me and Leopold will scavenge the nearby villages for food, because we need to triple up on food, because we're only going to recruit more. You know what I mean? And we don't want to have to be doing this.
Yeah, remember that. Depending on your decisions, some of those 5 other guys or girls might live with you, stay with you, or they might, stay at their own places. But even then, remember what I told you. The Skaven are purposefully keeping the people of Talabheim hungry. They are eating all the food themselves. So even those who are allowed to stay in their homes, like Karsta or Honorius, they are basically starving. So they will also need food, not only for them but also for their families, if they have any.
Did Jubal Falk ever make it over the wall?
Jubal Falk? You mean
Jubal Falk's from Gnome.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
sure.
hunting the accursed Daria.
Yeah, he's
going to be my recruit.
It would be awesome.
He's going to shave his mustache and he's going to pretend to be somebody else.
Accursed Darius, I finally found you. Curses, I need to work with you now.
No. You convince him that the accursed Darius is actually the one running the plan.
Yeah, it's actually a
Skaven.
Yeah, I'll draw a fake mustache on me.
Yeah, Jubal Falk is so ashamed of that. Not only did he allow the Skaven to enter, the non-artillery academy, he also thought that he was a human.
He's on the other side of the gatehouse.
Yes.
He just goes in there and blows it up himself.
Out of shame. All right. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool, to be honest. Okay. Oh, by the way, there are no problems with water because the wells are still operational in the city, so you don't have to worry about that. But the food, of course, medicine and stuff like that is of the most immediate concern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, guys. So that's it for today.
Any more XP stuff, or is that it?
I've given 5. Oh yeah, ideas which push the adventure forward.
Jason had the one with the amulet.
Yes,
but I don't think we've seen how that's going to turn out.
Exactly. Not yet. But we shall see.
What about the plan?
He should make a note of it, though.
Yeah, I did. I already did. I will remember that, of course.
She might have PTSD when she comes back, hearing what the Skaven have to say.
There is a big possibility, to hear the demonic beast rats speaking to each other is probably not good for your sanity. Anyway, I don't think that there were any ideas that actually helped to push the adventure forward. I will give each of you 5 points for the cart idea, basically. That you've put the cart outside the city and then collected stuff from it over some time. It was actually a good idea because you've managed to avoid, pushing the heavy cart through the streets, which would surely bring some unwanted attention upon you. So each of you additional 5 points. All right. So that's it. Next game. I don't know. 3rd of December.
That looks like it works for me.
I think so.
All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Jason.
That should work.
Right. 3rd of December, standard time. It will be probably the last game before Christmas, and maybe even last game in 2017. We shall see, because Christmas is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will also have a bit of stuff to do. But yeah, but first should be okay. Okay, guys, thank you very much for the game. I will see you all next time. Remember to write about, to describe these characters in just a few sentences. You don't need to write essays 2 pages long. Just I don't know.
Mine's
5.
a witch hunter. No.
Okay. You want a witch hunter? No problem. Just one
Dragon Prince.
Okay, maybe not, but witch hunter sounds okay. No, just one tiny request from me. If you're making a character and you want to make him, for example, any character, not only a witch hunter, but for example, if you want to make a sewer jack, also give him. Don't only give him good stuff. Don't only say that he's expert at tracking. Also make him an alcoholic, for example, or also make him agoraphobic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
All right.
Well, actually, what I was really
actually,
intending to do was sort of do similar to how I rolled up my character and sort of try to roll some stuff for him to see what he's about.
Actually, an agoraphobic ranger sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah. So ridiculous that it might just work.
A claustrophobic tunnel rat.
Oh, great. Yeah, a sailor who hates water. Yeah. Okay, so like I said, create these characters before our next game and post them on our group.
Okay.
For everyone to see. Either just make a normal comment, or create a Word document or something. If you have any personal stuff to talk to me about, just give me a call.
Okay.
By the way, your sailor who hates water comment actually gave me a really good idea.
Well, in that case, you're welcome. Yeah,
In fact,
because
so much that he ended up in the middle of Talabheim.
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay, I will see you all on the 3rd of December. Take care, guys, and see you later.
All right.
All right.
Later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.